hello, everyone. How are we all doing? Crispy, say hi.
Hi.
Okay, can you actually talk with just like decent volume, just so I can check audio levels, por favor, my good man?
Bingle bungle, dingle dangle, yickety doo, yickety da, ping pong, lippy toppy tooter.
All right, folks, you know how it goes by now. Let me know how we sound in comparison to each other, and whether I need to up or down either of our voices. I'll do a wave of it. What the hell? Scared the life out of me. I'll do a little Sonic, and you know the volume will magically change. But just let me know. But welcome everyone. Bear in mind that if I do turn up the audio for Crispy, that does also turn up soundboard audio. So just bear that in mind.
Keep in mind, I can keep it down.
I was gonna say, is your mic just quieter generally? Because you do sound quieter than normal. People are saying to turn you up.
It is 7 a.m. in the morning, and these are the first words I'm speaking of the day.
Oh, don't start with your pathetic excuses.
We'll see.
Right, there we go. I've boosted it to the same level as me now.
I might be able to turn it up.
Well, I normally have you a bit quieter than me in the audio, but I've now balanced us out. We're at the same audio level, so we're both minus 0.7 decibels. So we're both still reduced a bit, but we're all balanced. So let me know what you'll think.
Riveting stuff.
I know. I turned you up by a whole 3 decibels. Can you believe it?
Okay.
Oh, your friend Sam's just messaged me.
Oh.
I'm just going to say, any thought? Actually, I'm going to send him a voice message, hang on, and then you'll all get it a bit spoiled. Hello, boss, you get a voice message, because we're actually live right now. Yeah, any thoughts at all would be good, please. If you send it in the next 20, 30 minutes, it'll be included. Much love. There we go. We got a special surprise for you lot for this episode, so that's part of it. The Sam, yes, the Sam. The Sam that's Crispy's friend, but apparently now I'm on DM basis with. I'm stealing your friend, Crispy.
Wow.
Can't believe it. So how's everyone doing? How is everyone doing? Welcome to the stream. We're going to get started in just a moment. It's going to be a packed episode. It's going to be a lot to talk about. So we won't be dawdling. We're going to get right into it. But we're going to let everyone filter in and then kick off. How are you, Crispy?
I'm good. Connor said my early morning voice sounds like Sutek.
Can you just say, I bring Sutek's gift of death in that voice? I bring
Sutek's gift of death.
Meanwhile, I bring Sutek's gift of podcasts. So let's. I've made that joke 3 times now.
Has Sutek? Wait, what?
I bring Sutek's gift of podcasts.
What do you reckon Sutek's podcast is called? Hanging on the TARDIS. Hanging out with
Tales
the TARDIS.
from the TARDIS.
Oh wow, that's good.
There you go.
That's good.
There you go.
Put a leash on me.
Walkies, a Doctor Who podcast.
Walkies and Zoomies with Sutek.
Oh, right. Okay, folks. So as you all know by now, we're doing our live episode that we do once a month, where we do a live episode. That's a great description, isn't it? We record our episode live, and we take our callers as per usual. There will be the special Patreon segment at some point where we take in some call. Oh, Doctor Whovian, look at that with 20 Aussie dollars. Look at that, Crispy.
Thanks, mate.
Can you see that? Absolutely dreadful to be awake at 7 a.m, but nice to see you, gents. Are you keeping warm, Crispy?
It's absolutely bloody freezing, mate, in Australia.
This is what's so funny.
Australia.
I forget that our climates are basically like inverted. I'm sweating over here. I'm hot.
Yeah, but
stuff.
Tell me what, like, how cold it is for you right now.
Well, I bet you if I check the temperature, it's going to say it's not very warm, but I think our house just retains heat, especially my room, really well. Yeah, it is not warm at all, according to my actual phone. It reckons it's only 15 degrees. I don't know what that is in
okay.
Fahrenheit.
Well, it is colder here. It's 8 degrees here.
It feels in here about 22, 23 at the minute, though. Like, I'm...
Are you still there?
Yep. Oh, it's coming back. We're back.
Yeah, I think we're back. Bloody Sutek.
We're so back. I hope. It reckons
we are so
I love
back.
how my OBS says we haven't dropped a single frame. No, we did. We just did. So I don't know why you're saying that, but let's just wait a minute because it may dip again, and then hopefully it'll be fine. You sent me a message saying hello. Hello. Okay, no, it was my internet. I literally just said to Oscar, I hope it didn't happen. Oh, Oscar. Oh, well, whatever. It's because your message popped up. We're on first name basis now.
Oh, no. Damn.
But, no, I literally just said to him before we still went live, I was like, I really hope my internet doesn't crash again. And look, it did it again. Don't you just
It's
love life?
bloody ridiculous.
We need to reboot
bloody
the
ridiculous.
internet in our house. We do this every now and again. It's been glitchy. Oh my days.
Hello and welcome to the Who's There
I forgot about this ringtone.
with Troy and Crispy.
Damn. That's what happens.
How
We
much fun.
lose some cool things when it becomes the entire point of the podcast.
Yeah.
We need to bring back poll time, man. We need to start doing polls again. I missed that.
Well, do we have any polls?
No, we don't have
that
any
we could
polls.
do?
But do you know what? Do you know what we're going to do? Do you know what we're going to do, folks? Right now, I'm going to set one up in the live chat, and you're going to answer it. Empire of Death, yay or nay?
Yay
So,
or nay?
did you just guess that before I said it?
Yeah.
Wow, we have the same brain. So, I've started that poll. I will leave it running for a while, and then at some point during the episode, we'll do the poll time jingle, and we'll see if the yays or the nays have it. So let us know what you think of the episode. Is it a yay? Is it a nay? If you feel middling on it, I'll let you decide where your vote sits. That's up to you. Since it's letting me vote, I will place a vote. Oh, I have to sign in. Never mind. Oh no, I can't. I can't. Oh no, I can't close the chat. But it's just a login box now. Oh my god. Hang on. This is going well. There we go. Let's bring it back. There we go. Okay, I can't vote, so I'm just going to hide the box instead. Cool. All right, there we go. So, Crispy, do you remember which jingle is poll time? Have you got that still? Do you know where it is?
Ooh.
Don't play it. Don't get me excited unless you.
Yeah,
you
I've got it. I got it. I've got it.
Yeah.
I've got it.
Okay. All right. So, are we all ready to go? Are we all
I'm
excited?
ready to go.
I've clicked the start
I'm
recording
ready to-
button, so we're now recording. Oh my god, TV Zone are in the live chat.
Oh, here we go.
Oh my god. And you start
TV
playing
Zone.
questions and
Right.
quizzes. Hello, TV Zone. Oh my god.
That's crazy.
There is the
I was not
trickster, the god of
expecting this.
traps. There is Maestro, the god of music, and there is TV Zone, the god of Doctor Who news on Twitter. There you go. You can quote me on that. Don't worry. I endorse it.
Beautiful.
But welcome.
Beautiful.
Yeah, TV Zone, literally the most reliable Doctor Who news I've seen on Twitter, like unironically. It's what I've said before. They've gotten so well known for it that they have to say when it's not Doctor Who related if they're teasing something. Like, hey, something cool at
so
midnight,
funny.
but it's not Doctor Who related, just so you know. And so everyone can go, okay, and they can all chill, which I think is quite funny. I think it's quite funny.
That's
so
very
welcome,
good.
everyone. So, we're going to get right into it. We've got a lot to talk about when it comes to Empire of Death, the season finale of Doctor Who Season 1. A lot to say. Crispy and I have not had a single word about it on call. However, we did send each other the message, So that's all we know so far, but I think Crispy's seen all my tweets, so I think he might have an idea where I stand.
Yeah.
But I have no idea where you stand. You've kept your cards close to your chest. You're not addicted to posting on Twitter like I am.
Oh, I'll tell you where I stand.
Okay. Is it where you fall?
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it. I knew it.
Very, very well played.
Don't
Very
try
well
and outplay me with the Capaldi quotes, man. I'll beat you every time. All right, and
All right.
Tharies is in the chat as well. Look at that. The Avengers are assembling. Wow.
Oh my goodness gracious
This is
me!
amazing.
All right, let's give him a show, Troy. Let's
Let's
do
do it. We need a funny intro, Crispy. We need a funny intro.
Okay,
So-
I've got one.
Okay. All right, go for it. What have you got? He's cooked.
Troy, did I ever tell you how my parents named me?
No, you never told me that.
Oh, it was so funny. It's actually a crazy story. They met at a Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Okay.
My mum and my dad, yeah. And they were trying to choose what they wanted on the menu. And my mum was heavily pregnant at the time, and she pointed at the original Crispy Burger. And it was just like that. It was set in stone. Crispy Pro was born in that KFC.
I thought they were at an awards ceremony and they just pointed at one of the winners at one point. You know?
That.
Both
My
those
nickname.
jokes work.
is
Both
my
those
real
jokes
name
work.
From my parents.
Maybe it was the KFC awards.
Oh wow! Oh wow!
And the
Gosh,
Oscar
this
for
is
crispiest chicken goes to...
me.
Roll the intro.
That'll do.
That was alright. I like that. I like that. That wasn't half bad. That wasn't half bad. Isn't it funny when we stage our humour, folks?
Yes, it's all fake.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool. I just got a notification from Blindwave saying they've done a reaction for Pyramids of Mars. Tells the TARDIS. That's dope as hell. How have they managed to
on.
get that? They're in America. Well, I know what I'm watching after this podcast. Don't watch it now. We can all watch it together in our
VPN.
heads after the podcast is over. So if I refresh this page, yep, Sam is called in as well. Crispy. There you go. Refresh your speak pipe.
Wow.
So, and one more thing, folks. If you are watching live right now, which I would hope you are, we're live right now. What I will say is, if you haven't yet called in about this episode, there is still just that little bit more time left if you want to. So what I'm going to do is put the link to the speak pipe in the chat, and you can use that link right there to go and call in. I'd ask you try and keep the calls to 30 seconds if you can. A lot of you have gone over that. That's understandable with this being a season finale. So if you don't run to it, then fair enough. But if you want to get any calls in, there's no guarantee we'll include you, but you can at least throw your hat in the ring, and we will refresh the page every now and again. Well, Crispy will, because I've told him to now. Won't you, Crispy? Puppy dog hours.
Yeah, Troy, can you hide the screen? Because I'm about to share the speak pipe thing.
Hang on. Boom. You are hidden.
Thank you, sir.
All right, let's get set up.
All right, what does that look like for you?
Minimize that, and boom, you're back. Cool.
Yay!
So I can't see the names, bear in mind. But to be fair, I can open SpeakPipe on my window and just see them myself. So it's fine. All right.
Cool.
You ready to go?
Yep.
My good man, you
Who's
are an
on
intro duty. So
oh, thank you.
You are. Well, we've
Cool.
decided, by the way, folks, because I got so power hungry, I came up with a very good idea, which is whoever does the intro controls the soundboard. So
Whoever controls the Pandora car, or whatever the hell.
whoever takes the riverside takes the podcast. But bad news,
bro.
everyone, because guess who?
Okay. Guess who? Oh, no.
Ha! Oh, no.
Okay.
So you ready to go?
Oh, no.
Oh, Jeremy Duncan has
let's
just
go.
sent a voice message in, so someone use that link. Thank you, Jeremy. I've got email
Yay.
pings, so I'll see when they come up on my phone. Oh.
Okay, let's
You know
do
what,
it.
Crispy? I think our chat right now are all these. I think we should stop that. I think we should make sure that they wait
Yeah.
no more, and we should start recording, shall we?
They're the ones who get entertainment.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's go.
Let's do it, folks.
Let's go.
Let's do it, folks.
Good luck.
All right.
Hello and welcome back to Who's There, a Doctor Who podcast. My name is Crispy, his name is Troy, and we're the hotline that accepts your calls from anywhere in time and space. And today, we are finishing the first ever season of Doctor Who with Empire of Death. My goodness gracious me. Troy, my boy, how are you?
I'm very excited, and also looking forward to seeing everyone tear you apart now, the Doctor Who purists, for saying this was the first season one. Anyone born in 1963 is going to kill you. And it's going to be quite
What do you
funny.
mean? This is a brand new Disney Plus original television show about someone that travels in time and
I
space.
don't know why I made a Mario death noise for a second there, but anyway. Welcome to the podcast, everyone. We are here to
Yay,
talk about
we're
the
live.
season finale, yeah. And we're live. We're live on YouTube.com. Isn't that crazy?
It's the weirdest thing. We've never done it before.
Do you know what? I'm almost not used to it being just you and me now. We've gotten so used to having a guest for the
Yeah.
last 6 episodes, but we agreed before we started the season that the first and the last episodes of the season would be just us. But we have a bit of a surprise when it comes to our callers, don't we, Crispy?
Yes. Sutek is in them.
Oh, right, okay. Well, I mean, fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, yeah, that
No.
wasn't the surprise I was going for, but hey, everyone's shocked, right? What's the real surprise,
we
Crispy?
got a lot of cool callers. We got
do?
the coolest callers in the world. We have a lot of previous guests that have called in, which is very, very nice. And we also have a lot of our lovely usual viewers, and we have our Patreon callers as well. We have this is the most hot the hotline's ever been.
It
The
is.
hotline is hot.
But
Burning,
yeah, we agreed
basically.
that because you'd all be so used to having guests on, we thought, why don't we do a bit of a season finale of Who's There? Don't worry, we're still going to be here next week, much to many people's dismay. But we thought, why not do a callback to the previous episodes of the last few weeks? And we've asked some of our guests to call in. I'll be honest, I had a great idea to do this with Crispy when we recorded the last one with George and forgot to ask all the guests until about 4 hours ago. So the problem is, most of them were in Australia, and so some of them have not yet come back, and probably won't. But most of them have come back now, I'm pretty sure. The only ones we
pretty
haven't
good.
heard back from right at this moment are Mr. TARDIS, who's a very busy guy, so fair enough, and Josh Nares. So if either of them show up during the podcast, it'll be a great twist. But if not, everyone else we've had so far has called in, and it's exciting. Is it not, Mr. Crispy?
It is exciting.
But let's not
very
let's
exciting.
not inflate the YouTubers' egos. Let's get one of our regular listeners, someone who doesn't have a YouTube channel, and I'll let you pick, Crispy. Can we get our first take on Empire of Death before we begin our chat? Because we've got a lot to say.
Gosh, we have not heard any of these.
Yeah, but they'll be
So-
fine. If anyone says anything offensive, we'll just get them cancelled. That's how it works, right?
All right, let's go. Kin? Have we heard from Kin before?
I don't think so, but I'm just loving that I've got 2 more pings now. I just said it to everyone on the stream to call in if they wanted while we were recording. And Jim has sent a voice message in, as has Mrs. App William. But they spell app with 2 P's by accident, so it's a phone app,
App
William. now.
developer. Here we go.
So what's Ken got to say?
Hello, Kin.
Hi, Crispy and Troy. This is Ken calling. I have very mixed feelings about that episode. I like the acting, but I'm not sure about the script. The emotional bits were nice, but overall the episode was a bit underwhelming. I felt really bad for Sutek just getting dragged by the leash through the time vortex. Felt quite cruel, actually. And Mrs. Flood, well, she called the doctor a clever boy, so Clara's coming back. That's confirmed. Bye.
Very good. Very good. Lots of points raised. 10 out of 10 marks for you, Kin.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah. Well, the Clara theory, I just love that that's slowly building, and I know that's got to be intentional now.
It probably is.
Should we keep people in if they haven't realised?
Yes. Tell the people.
So, Mrs. Flood's outfit in the finale two-parter is very similar to Clara's final outfit that she wears in Face the Raven and Hellbent. So the kind of greyish sweater with the white shirt with the collar coming out over the top. And people thought, well, that's strange. She's got a similar outfit. Isn't that a bit weird? Isn't that a bit odd? But in Empire of Death, she refers to the Doctor as clever boy more than once in that little scene, which obviously is a very Clara Oswald phrase. Literally the whole point of her arc in Series 7. So, is it intentional? Is it not? Who knows? I think it is.
It might just be a coincidence.
Well,
Who
I mean,
knows?
literally the roof scene right after where she's in the big white coat. You could say she's just a big fan of E17 or Boney M, but I would actually argue that she's wearing the same coat that Romana wears at one point in Classic Who. I've seen the pictures on Twitter. She has a big white puffy coat. So maybe there's some classic connections here in this. It's someone who knows a TARDIS, knows some of the previous companions, is an all-powerful being with great plans. It's intriguing.
We'll know when Mrs. Flood starts wearing Ace's jacket. We'll be like, oh, okay.
If it wasn't obvious enough, now she's got a giant leather jacket on.
Oh, we understand. We understand.
Oh.
But yeah, so it seems like a mixed reaction for Kin there. Troy, shall we ask for Troy's thoughts?
Troy's
How do you feel
thoughts?
about Empire of Death?
Oh, you're trying to get me to shout out my own YouTube channel at the same name, or was that not the plan? And
Yes.
I'm doing anyway.
Yeah, you can do that right now. You can do that
subscribe
right now
to
on
Troy's Thoughts
YouTube.com.
on YouTube. Yeah, it's my second channel that I always say I'm going to upload more on and never do, but I am going to record a Doc 2 video tomorrow and hopefully put it up tomorrow with my thoughts on Season 1, because I have a lot of thoughts. Some good, some not so good. There's a big debate I want to get into later, folks. So if the live chat could please have your arguments ready when we get to it. The topic will be, was 8 episodes enough for this season? We'll talk about it more in next week's episode, but I do want to get initial thoughts after the finale's aired. But that will come later. So, Crispy, our thoughts on the episode. Should we do what we always do? Score out of 10.
Yeah, why not?
My score's changed, and I think I might be suffering from Stockholm Syndrome. I'll be honest with you. I'll be completely honest with you.
Oh, gosh.
So, I'm intrigued. So let's get your score first. I want to hear yours out of 10.
All right. You want to count me down?
All right, on go. 3, 2, 1, go.
6.
Okay, right. I was at a 6. I'm considering upping it to a 7. So maybe I should say 6.5.
You are a madman. Oh,
I am.
6.5.
I think 6.5. I think 6.5. So shall we? And chat scores. Can we get some scores?
Chat.
Please?
Let us know.
Give us your scores. Give us your scores. Crispy, why is it a 6 for you? Please give me a 5,000 word essay.
5,000 word essay. Okay, dear humble reader.
Is that how you started
okay.
your essays in school?
No, that's a Bridgerton reference, as everyone knows from
this is so Bridgerton.
Rogue review. Our Rogue review that I've now finished all of Bridgerton, and that's how Miss Whistledown starts all of her. Ooh. Is it Dear Humble Reader, Dear Gentle Reader? I can't remember. Anyway,
I mean, I know, Dear Stan. I meant to write to you sooner, or whatever it is. I don't know the lyrics.
That's
scores.
That's
just a quick one: 6.5, 7.5, 6, 7.5, 6.5, 5, 7, 6, 4, 5.5, 5, 8. There's an 8. That's the highest I've seen. 7.5, 5, 5, 7.5, 7, 8. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything higher than an 8, and an 8 is pretty rare. So, Crispy, the floor is yours, my good man. Why is it 6 out of 10 for you?
Faries has given it a 5. Interesting.
Ooh,
okay. So, there was a lot to do this episode. There was a lot to unwrap. We obviously had to... the whole point of this season, even from the Christmas special, was finding out the identity of Ruby's mother. That gets resolved. We had this big returning villain with Sutek, this massive presence. It was an hour-long finale. We had to kind of finish Ruby's story, plant her back home, kind of, I don't know, and it's the end of the world. Everything's turning to dust. Everyone's dying. and in typical Russell T Davies format, it was just like a big old reset button, and like as Kin said, how they got rid of Sutek is kind of like, oh, okay, that's a bit weird. And Russell's just kind of making up sci-fi mumbo jumbo to kind of justify how he brought everyone back.
Welcome to Doctor Who.
That's cool. Yeah, I know it's not exactly a new concept for Doctor Who making up sci-fi mumbo jumbo, but I kind of would have liked if there was something in the previous episode or an episode before where it was like, oh well, death plus death equals life, and so dragging Sutek but with a rope through the time vortex all of a sudden brings everyone back to life, but as soon as he cuts it off, it's like, oh, that's what destroys Sutek. I don't know. It just kind of left me going, And when I sent you that text message going, that's literally how I left the episode. I was like, I wasn't necessarily disappointed. I was just like, there were some great moments, but I just think for a season finale, you're like, I don't know.
Okay.
That's how I left Space Babies. How was your experience? Because I know you went to the cinemas, much like I imagine a lot of people in the chat went to the cinemas.
Well,
and a lot of our listeners.
My thoughts were cliffhanger. Can we have a caller, please?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to split it up. And I'm going to pick somebody because I know one of our long-time listeners, Dr. Master, has called in for the first time because she said she was thinking about it for a while. And I was like, let's get some OGs calling in. She has called in twice. She has an add-on part 2, and she's labelled it "If You Have Time, lol." But we'll just go for the first part for now and see what you say.
Oh wow!
So
two parts.
She put a two-parter in. So can we listen to her Legend of Ruby Sunday, please? And maybe we'll listen to her Empire of Death later.
Okay. Here we go.
See,
I think this is the first one from 9 hours ago.
Okay.
Is the first one?
Probably. 8 hours ago for me, Dr. Master.
Yeah. All right. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Hello, Dr. Master.
Hi, I just wanted to I'm not going to be talking about the episode itself, but more kind of the experience of watching it at the cinema, which for me, I wasn't really the biggest fan of. I feel like it's a lot better to watch it at home. I don't know what it is, but I think for me, I much preferred kind of being at home. I think it looks better. I think when it's projected on the screen, the colours aren't as vivid. And then also being around a lot of people, which I'm not the biggest fan of, because I got stuck next to a guy who absolutely was eating nachos and absolutely stunk. Anyways, I'm waffling, but I don't know what your guys' opinions are of watching it in the cinema and what it was like for you. But for me, I much prefer to stay at home and watch it on the TV screen because it just looks so much more nicer. So, see ya.
Thank you. All right. I'm so
that was
sorry
very appropriate. I didn't plan that.
Yeah. What a segue. That was good.
Interesting.
Yeah, the cinema experience. Yeah, everyone, if you went to the cinemas and you're in the chat right now, please let us know what your experience was like. Did you get stuck next to stinky nacho people?
Yeah.
Was the screen of decent quality? Was the sound of decent quality? Were the people of decent quality?
My OCD spotting weird eyes person self, that was great English. One of the first things I said to my mum after the Legend of Ruby Sunday finished was the screen's slightly cropped out incorrectly in our cinema. I could tell from the intro the BBC logo was cut off slightly, so it wasn't the full screen. It was more 16 movie aspect ratio, which I thought was interesting. But in terms of actually seeing it on the screen, I loved it. I really like seeing Doctor Who on the big screen, and just in particular, the best thing for me is seeing the title sequence. That nothing beats the sound and visual 360 nature of seeing that title sequence on the screen, which, for the record, is the first time I've seen the Doctor Who titles on screen in the cinema. Because for Day of the Doctor, need I remind you all, it didn't have a typical title sequence. It was just a remix of I Am the Doctor with Matt Smith swinging from the TARDIS. There was no proper sequence.
Good point.
So, first time I've seen that, and I absolutely adored it. Absolutely loved it.
Oh my gosh, you're right. I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, I was like, but then I would have seen the title sequence for no, the other Woman Who Fell to Earth.
Yeah.
That doesn't have a title sequence. That episode doesn't have a title sequence. Only in Ghost Monument do they bring it in.
Oh yeah. So you've not had. Wow, what is this weird tradition?
I did see Deep Breath in
a
theater. It wasn't a cinema. It was more like a theater room where they had a screen. But that had the new title sequence, so I'll take that. But out of the 3 times I've seen Doctor Who somewhere apart from my house, only once did it have the title sequence. That's funny.
But I love seeing the cinema. Thought it was great. The only thing that annoyed me was that they kind of hyped up there's going to be a special message for the broadcast. I said this to my mum, and I was like, some cinemas are saying it starts at 10:45 p.m. and not 11. And we went to a cinema, we ended up changing cinemas, we were going to at the last minute, and we went to one that said it was starting at 11. And I was like, I think this cinema's not showing the message, blah, blah, blah. Turns up it was just Millie, it like 20 seconds in between the two episodes going, thanks for watching, put a lot of work in. I was like, okay, cool. But timing-wise, it was really funny because Legend of Ruby Sunday finished just after midnight. So we didn't start watching Empire of Death until like 20 past midnight. So like we could have just put on BBC iPlayer and started watching it in the cinema if we'd wanted to. I thought the idea was it would be in time with everyone. So that was odd. But aside from that, no, I really liked it. But I've seen a lot of people saying they enjoyed the vibe to it. I can see Faries in the chat saying his cinema was counting down the interval. Also said the CGI looked fairly comparable to the Marvel and Star Wars stuff. Ooh.
We could talk about those comparisons as well.
And how he definitely stole notes from both Avengers Infinity War and Spider-Man No Way Home, which I know that Faries picked up on both of in his video. So, yeah, interesting thoughts. Right, so my thoughts on the episode. Okay. I came out of it very much like, and I stand by this in particular, even if my score's gone up slightly, it is definitely RTD's weakest finale. And I say that by a good bit. I like Last of the Time Lords more than the average person anyway, but even I agree, out of the 4 out of his era, that was the weakest one of the 4. But out of Last of the Time Lords and Empire of Death, Last of the Time Lords has better pacing and I think a slightly better resolution. I have a couple of problems with Empire of Death, but what I will say is that the first and last 10 minutes I absolutely adore. Like, the first 10 minutes is like peak Doctor Who with good, like villain doing villainy things and stakes, things like that. I don't think the stakes worked, but I'll get to that in a minute. And the last 10 minutes is RTD peak character writing. Like, the two things he does best, they do their best at the start and end of the episode. The middle of it, I don't think it was paced well. I didn't really understand, like, it's hard, because I've watched it 3 times through now for context, and I kind of like, I watched it midnight screening, I watched it this morning, and then watched it with the live broadcast on terrestrial TV. So, like, by the third time, I was, like, getting more used to the pacing, but I still don't love it. My biggest note, and I want to see what the chat thinks of this as well, is that I think the first 10 minutes of Empire of Death, approximately up to Kate Stewart dying, should have been at the end of Legend of Ruby Sunday. Because for me, I think setting up the stakes is really important, but you should do that before the cliffhanger in a 2-part story. Because if you think about the Pandorica opens, the entire universe is slowly being destroyed and Amy's dead before that first episode ends. And then the finale is, let's resolve everything. Whereas in Empire of Death, 10 minutes in, everyone you know is dead, and you're immediately like, well, there's no stakes here. You're going to spend half an hour at most solving it. So even if it was in the start of the cliffhanger, like Amy dying, as I remember my mum saying when I was 10, Amy's not dead, they'll fix it. But if it's in a cliffhanger, it does give you that suspense. It does give you the how are they going to do it. But if it happens in the start of the finale, you go, well, this is going to get fixed in 20 minutes, so show us how.
I'm so shocked they didn't do that. I think it would have been way better, because like the Sutek reveal, like, unfortunately a lot of us knew. I don't think when Russell wrote or when they filmed it, he kind of expected everyone to guess that it was Sutek from, a Disney Plus trailer, and then of course when they released the Susan Triad technology images, promotional images, everyone's like, oh, it is Sutek.
Yep.
So unfortunately that cliffhanger didn't hit as hard as it could have, but man, oh man, it would have hit so much harder, because that shot of everyone in unit dying and then kind of lingering on Kate Stewart before turning to dust is a much better cliffhanger.
Phenomenal.
And then I would have been like, that was the one moment in the episode I was like, oh damn, oh wow. So we're really doing this. But I would have hit so much harder if it was in last week's episode. I think people would have been like, yeah, last week, perfect episode of Doctor Who, 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
If that was the cliffhanger instead of just
I agree.
The Sutek reveal.
I'd have given it higher than an 8.
And you know what? They probably could have got away with it, because they would have made this episode like 45 minutes.
But also I think they could have given more time
55.
to like just wander in Sutek's Empire of Death. I don't feel like there was enough there. I like the scene between the Doctor and the kind woman. Even though it was just, I'm giving you a spoon, which honestly just felt a bit like Jodie making a Sonic, because that was out of Sheffield Spoons, wasn't it?
And we did see Jodie Sonic very briefly.
We did see Jodie Sonic, and we also saw 14 Sonics sat in one of the consoles, because of course I would spot that from 73 yards away.
Nice.
Which, by the way, I like that episode got tied in. That makes me like 73 yards a bit more.
I wanted to talk to you about that.
Even though the scene they used wasn't in the episode, and I was like, that's
weird.
That's a bit odd.
Weird decisions. There's some very strange decisions, but yeah, it's just going back on your point about, I wish we explored the actual Empire of Death. I wish we explored, like, just give me like a minute exploring this like completely wasted Earth, like, you know, completely barren, no one's there. Kind of explain the rules a bit more as to people are forgetting things, people are forgetting their family, death's kind of working its way. There were some really, really great ideas, and I bet you it all looks great on paper.
Yeah.
I think this will be a great read for a novelization, this two-parter. I think it'll be an excellent read, but in terms of being on TV, that's when the pacing kind of goes, oh,
Exactly.
we're jumping here. Oh, we're doing memory TARDIS. Oh, we're going. Oh,
Like,
what are we doing? What are we doing?
As you say, everything works well on paper. Like, for example, the scene between the Doctor and the woman, especially the realizing her child's dead and then her dying, beautifully written, beautifully performed. I love Mel turning into a servant of Sutek. I just love how much Mel had to do. Bonnie Langford, I absolutely love her.
Mel was
I think she's
fantastic.
great.
Mel's look. You know, with Ruby, she's a great companion, whatever. We needed way more time with her. But for Mel, as a side companion, did everything. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe how much I adore Mel as a companion.
Yeah. Russell said there's a few things in the commentary, and I think we'll have a special feature later, if you don't mind, Crispy, called Troy's Notes. Because I've got a lot of things I want to kind of run through. Kind of like, remember we did Breaking Down Power of the Doctor, where like it was just an episode of my notes for 3 pages?
Yeah.
Kind of like that. We'll have a feature maybe later if we have time. This might end up being a really long episode. I'm so sorry. That's
fine.
But I think it'll be worth it for the finale. But in my head, what I'm visualizing, because what I've picked up, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that, which I love this plan, everywhere that the TARDIS has landed, a Susan Triad will appear, and that's another focal point, another ground zero for the dust to spread in whatever time or space that the TARDIS has landed. And then there's kind of like a picking off leftovers as it spreads on any planets in between. Things end up getting destroyed eventually. That means there's got to be a bunch of planets, even if they're caught within that pattern, that wouldn't die immediately. And I'd have liked if we'd had, again, that first 10 minutes to be in Legend of Ruby Sunday, have 30, 40 minutes of them slowly concocting this plan as they're bouncing between a couple of different places, maybe using the remembered TARDIS if they want to, and just see things slowly getting worse and worse and worse, and being like, okay, we've got this one thing, we know what to do now, it's now or never, something like that. I would have liked more, because Sutek's gone with, 15 minutes left in the episode? There's a good chunk left.
Yeah, they got rid of it, which is fine. And if you kind of look at the RTD finales, he does do that, so he spends the last 10 minutes just doing character work, whether it be Martha Jones being like, I don't want to be part of this, or if it's Donna forgetting all her stuff and it's a really sad scene. So I'm fine with that. But yeah, I just feel like there's a lot of stuff that could have been explored, and I would have liked to have because I've only seen the episode the once, in all fairness, so I'm not the authority much like you are now, Troy. But is it because the Doctor landed on Earth so much that this Susan Triad on Earth was kind of like so well developed? Like, is it the same? Like, it only creates one, and then every time it revisits, it kind of gets stronger and stronger and stronger. Is that
because he kept landing on Earth, especially around present day era, it kept building up this visual of Susan Triad and kept making her more and more notable, and allowed her to basically reach this position of power.
I see. Okay, well that's fun. But Susan Triad, like the whole narrative thread of this season was she's barely in it, and then she gets a job offer at the end from Kate. We're like, yeah, sure, why not?
I feel like she probably served her purpose. Like I'm okay with that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I agree. But it's kind of like, oh, that's weird. We're changing focus, but it does make sense.
I do think that was paid off really well. I really like the payoff with Susan Twist. I really like them going back and explaining, every time the TARDIS lands, it's that. But can I just say, the funniest thing to come out of all this are all of the memes and jokes about the implications of Sutek having been clung onto the back of the TARDIS since the Fourth Doctor's era. The funniest, obviously, being Day of the Doctor, where you've got 13 TARDISes around Gallifrey. Sutek's just looking at himself 13 different times, like that Umbrella Academy meme, like, oh, here we go. I'm doing this again, am I? Is it that time of the year again? All right, here we go.
All right, here we go. Come on, let's save Gallifrey.
He's like reciting the script like Matt Smith on the desk. You know, Geronimo, Alonzi. Yeah. Oh, for God's sake. Oh, I've heard this a million times. Like, the memes that come out of it are great. Like, it's almost Evil Dan level, the amount of memes I'm seeing. It's great. I love it.
Oh, that's so funny, actually.
I love it.
Poor Sutek. Like, do you reckon Sutek gets car sick?
Oh, you better not at this. But I think if he did, he's probably got over it.
Yeah, crikey. Oh, man, I can't imagine spinning around in a time vortex for hundreds, let alone thousands of years, potentially.
But everyone just think about a funny time where someone was on the TARDIS or something like that, and how they would have reacted with Sutek. Capaldi sat on the top of the TARDIS and listened. Was his head in Sutek's guts? Who knows?
Well,
Who knows?
We don't know.
Who knows?
We don't know.
You know, that's a weird visual. Should we get another caller?
Yes, yeah, why not?
Who
We
do you
have
want,
so many
Crispy? You
people
pick.
calling in. We got so many people calling in.
Calling in. Who's
Should
calling in?
we? Oh my gosh! Should we listen to one of our guests? Should we listen to one of our
Let's have a
listeners?
guest caller. Who? You know what? In fact, no. You pick. You pick. I was gonna pick, but you pick.
Okay, let's go. The artist formerly known as Ace Creeper.
What's
shall we?
George Sheard got to say? The man who I
Hello.
was here last week.
Hello, lads. Thank you for having me on the podcast the other day. These are my thoughts on the Empire of Death, or Empire of Death, whatever it's called. I really liked it. I thought it was very good. I don't really know what I'd give it out of 10 because I've only seen it once and it was about midnight and I'm knackered. So I can't really remember it. I need to watch it again. But the plot points about Sutek's demise and Ruby's mother, I really enjoyed. I thought they were fitting. It was a bit of a messy episode, as are most Doctor Who finales, but I thought for the most part it really worked, and I was very satisfied with a lot of the stuff that they set up. I'm excited for the setup stuff for season 2 with Mrs. Flood and Susan Foreman, and I'm satisfied with the endings of Sutek and Ruby's mother, as I've mentioned. And I thought the visuals were amazing. I thought the performances were amazing. Shooty was on his absolute A game. I absolutely love it, and I'm very interested to see what you guys think. So, yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with that. Yeah, I thought it was good. Anyway, see you later. Have fun.
Well, you're on your own.
Thank you, George. Thank you. Well, no, it's interesting hearing because there is a lot of good in this episode.
Absolutely.
There is actually and it's kind of like we can talk about it more next week, I suppose. But this season was just full of good moments. But does it work cohesively?
No, it doesn't.
Does it does it hold up on its own 2 feet? Maybe not. But there were some fantastic moments, and Shooty and Millie, and even Bonnie Lang. That's a real name, isn't it?
Bonnie Langford, yeah. Or as Russell calls it, Bonita.
Bonita. I love that. I'm going to use that.
Yep.
I thought that gave fantastic performances. All around. Even the voice work from Gabriel Wolf doing Sutek.
91 years of age, by the way.
91 years of age. Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for your contribution to Doctor Who. So there's some great moments in this episode. I just don't think it all came together quite like it should. I agree. I'm sure there's a timeline where it works, but this one, I don't know. It doesn't feel like. What's the best Doctor Who finale? What is the best Doctor Who finale for you, Troy? And don't say the Wedding of Ever song because I know it's the best.
It's obviously not. And actually remind me later on, Crispy, or maybe this will be next week, but I want to compare season 1 to series 6 specifically. There's a reason I want to do that.
What?
I'm either going to do it this episode or next. I haven't decided yet. And I might save what I said earlier about 8 episodes not being enough for next episode 2. But I have a point. So keep it in your head. Audience, keep it in your head. I want to.
Gosh.
Thank you to Fleason in the live chat for super chatting £2, saying the best memes are the name of my. Wow, that was a loud sneeze. Good grief. I hope you like that, audio listeners. But the best memes are naming my children memes, said Fleason, which is a fair
Thank
shout.
you, Fleason. You're a legend. Appreciate you.
I want to say Journey's End because I think that's a fantastic finale. But when I think about objective, my favorite episodes, The Doctor Falls is above it. So that should mean that it's a better finale too, but I don't know. Does it being a great episode also mean it's a great finale, or are they two different things? You might say.
Oh my gosh!
You know?
Oh, Troy! Wow! Wow, dude, that is some showrunner mentality you were showing. Excellent initiative from you there. The answer is Battle of Ranskor of Kolos. Anyway, let's keep going. Let's
take a caller before I get very angry at you. Who's next?
Who's next? Do you ask? Jack Amigo.
Jack Amigo, what have you got?
Hello.
Hey guys, Jack Amigo here, back again. Just wanted to say this episode was good, but not as good as the last episode. And for me, it was just really annoying because 73 yards was mentioned so many times, yet it was still ignored. There was still a lot of questions that need answering. Really enjoyed the Tales of the TARDIS episodes. I ain't seen any of those yet, so I'm about to go off and watch them. Really looking forward to that. But overall, about maybe 6 out of 10. It wasn't perfect, but it was good.
Thank you, Jack Amigo. Thank you.
Should
we talk on the 73 yards thing for a second, Troy?
Yeah.
Because I wanna kind of understand that because I like the idea that they wanted to play and toy with that a little bit, but they never really went in on it. And then you're right, there was that scene that seemed like a deleted scene. If that scene was in 73 yards, I'd be like, oh my gosh, that's genius.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic. I kind of like maybe in Legend of Ruby Sunday, if there was a moment between Ruby and Kate being like, hey, have we met before? And then Kate's like, quite possibly, or something like that. You know, like kind of like toy with the idea, or maybe like Shooty kind of figures out, oh, there was a something obviously happened in the cliff in the cliffs of Wales, because there was that mention, something about 73 yards away. What was that? What was that about?
So
was that about the mother being 73 yards away from the TARDIS or the church or something?
Well, first the camera that filmed the CCTV was 73 yards away from the event happening, from like the
Weird.
being dropped off. But for me personally, just backtracking ever so slightly, it's purely that we talked about it during the 73 yards episodes with Tharies, if he's still in the chat, wherever you are, good sir, because we got his call still to go yet as well. I'm intrigued to see, because I know his YouTube video said underwhelmed.
Quite.
But I fully expected them to not touch on 73 yards again. I felt like it was going to be, it's this experimental little episode, we're never going to mention it again, like Sleep No More or something. So I'm really glad that wasn't the case. And I did like that the Doctor just went, oh, strange things can happen at 73 yards. And it was almost, to me, maybe I misread it, but that felt like an audience winky moment of, you know, like a woman being stood 73 yards away. But obviously the Doctor doesn't know that. He just kind of goes, things can be weird at 73 yards. And I also like that he tied it to the TARDIS and said the perception filter of the TARDIS is a roughly 73-yard radius of it blending in with its surroundings. I like that they've done that. It's not something that destroys, like, the canon or something, and you don't always think, oh, the TARDIS is only going to work to this distance. It's just a good way to tie it in and make it feel connected, even for someone like me who didn't love that episode. And we're not opening that kind of worms again.
They could have directly addressed being like, oh, you know, like maybe like Shooty could, I don't know, they could have said something about being like, oh yeah, one time the TARDIS landed on some string and stuff, or landed near some string and stuff, and it created something weird at 73 yards.
But they wouldn't,
and then just
know
kind of
that,
explain that.
That's the only problem.
No, they wouldn't. They
like,
wouldn't. So but Russell could ride around it being like, oh, sometimes I dream about
being an ambulance.
Being an ambulance. Do you ever dream about being an
Still,
ambulance?
one of the funniest
Do you ever dream about that, dude?
clip. Do you dream about being an ambulance? It's one of those old teleshopping adverts. Hi, Phil Swift here. You ever dream about being an ambulance?
Well, today's your lucky day. We've got all your ambulance needs.
But yeah, I mean, for me, I agree. I did think it was strange that there wasn't a note last week from Ruby being like, "You seem familiar." No, never mind. I thought that was odd. But there has been like a couple of hints at the end of 73 yards, and then now saying like, you know, Ruby still carries some of the memory of 73 yards there and some of that alternate timeline. And I like that they tied that in to pay off the finale. But again, like I said, the central part of the episode isn't my favorite. It's one of those things where, exactly as you said, on paper, I like everything. In execution, I don't know if it flows well, it's paced nicely, if everything adds up or everything feels satisfying. The idea of, we're tying back to a strange episode in the middle of the season, and that's actually going to tell us where to land to find the plot point to end the story. That's great. Just don't know if I adore it in execution, per se.
No, it's all a bit clunky. It's all a bit clunky, isn't it?
But yeah, he should have said that conversation, because the whole thing was nuke-based in that interview in the episode. They should have also been other bits of, like, you know, say some wild stuff. Me and Russell already made comments on immigrants and space babies. Maybe have him have a thought on immigrants, have a thought on nukes, have a thought on education, and go, and also I think we should have DNA checking to be compulsory for everyone. Just run through a few things. It doesn't even need to be more than 2 seconds. But as long as, you know, what Doctor Who nerds are like, just so you can just click back and go, he mentioned that in episode 4. As us Doctor Who nerds, myself, worse than most, inevitably would do. So, I
feel like the casual viewer might be like, oh yeah, that's
quick flashback.
Maybe they did say that in the last episode. Yeah. Anyway, whatever. It's a weird episode. It's a weird one.
Crispy, can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Can you play a jingle that we haven't used?
I was just about
in
to
a
mention
long
that.
time.
Yeah, I could do that. Absolutely.
If
Here
you're
we
an
go.
OG,
You ready?
you're gonna know this. If you're not, enjoy the tune. Let's roll it.
It's poll time.
You bet your ass it is. We haven't done this for a while. We're going to do a few more of these. You have to understand, the reason we stopped is because when we were doing like our weekly recordings, something's got moved around. It's hard to do weekly polls. But I think we're going to try and make an effort, are we not, Chris? We just every now and again,
Yeah.
if we can.
Even for the live ones, there should just be a live poll
Yeah,
because my goodness, how many votes did we just get, Troy?
Well, live chat, if you haven't voted yet, please do. There's 105 people currently watching, roughly, and 117 votes. So everyone might have voted who's watching. But if you haven't, please vote now. But live on the podcast, we thought, why not do a quick poll? And it's a very simple... Crispy, can you see the result first off?
I can see the result.
Oh, okay,
I can see the result.
Okay, well, either way, Crispy, you tell everyone what the poll is.
Well, it was a very, very simple question to the group.
Like
it was
me.
Empire of Death, yay or nay? And my goodness, just like my pants, this has been split.
Put the mic down for a second and just have a second to just refresh yourself. I think you need a moment to yourself, buddy. I don't know what that was.
I'm still waking up. I don't know what that was, man. I was trying to think of something that splits. A banana?
Oh,
Banana
okay.
split?
It's not split down the middle anymore. Someone jumped in and did something crazy. I see Philip Hawkins to the chat saying we needed a mixed. I know we did, but I thought it was funnier to just be a straight split down the middle and see which way people lean. So out of yay or nay, in 120 votes, the numbers don't add up anymore. What just happened?
No, they don't.
What just happened? All right, so
that's a weird
1% of
maths.
people have been lost in the time vortex, like Sutek, but apparently 47% say yay and 52% say nay. So I'm gonna say it's 48-52. Oh no, there we go. It's just gone up. It's 47-53. So the nays have it, which it's not by much, but that's still a little concerning, right?
It is for a season finale. My goodness gracious me. It's look, but has Russell? Did we expect anything else from Russell? Because I feel like his finales have been somewhat clunky in execution. Always.
Philip
Always,
just said it's the
right?
dreaded Brexit ratio. Oh my god.
Oh, crikey.
Oh,
crikey.
we made it political. We made it
Thank you, Philip
political.
Hawkins.
Yeah, I mean, there are people who don't like Russell's finales, and I mean, George pointed out last week, and that was why it was ringing in my head when we got to the episode today. Like, he does love a good reset button, and he plays into that trope, but he's done that before and still delivered a great finale. I just don't know if this one was a great finale. Like, I don't know. Like, Daisy just said in the chat, they've never been this messy. I don't think they have. But it's not as messy as our bank account's looking, because $5 from Dr. Whovian and 99p from RH1812. But Dr. Whovian said, there is Crispy, the god of showrunners. There is Troy, the god of bank heists. And there is Tharis, the god of ramps. I like that.
Wow.
I like that.
3 horsemen of the apocalypse right there.
You don't want us turning up at your door, mate. You know it's over when we turn up at your door. Oh, you know it's over when the 73 yards Dot Who's There episode cast turn up at your door. Crazy. Well, it's crazy.
Cast. Like it's full on production.
RH just said you deserve a quid. Okay, well, where's the penny then? You gave us 99p. Where's the penny?
Oh my gosh.
Where's the penny?
I'll take it. I appreciate you. RH.
I do too. Don't worry. Thank you. Should we have another caller, Crispy?
Yeah, right. Whatever, man. Gosh, stop asking me. I'm sick of it. Gosh.
All right, I'm just going to run this podcast on my own going forward.
See if you recognize this voice.
Okay.
I bring Tharis' gift of another appearance on the Who's There Doctor Who podcast.
You can't get rid of this kid.
Crispy. Hello, boys.
Kid.
I wanted to give my quick thoughts on this episode. Dear.
Oh, no.
I've wanted a Sutek return for so long, and man, I was underwhelmed. And it sucks because I really enjoyed this series, but man, this didn't do it for me. Sutek being destroyed by a rope, the god of death, pulled through the time vortex on walkies with a rope. Nah, I'm sorry. I get people getting annoyed at the Toymaker being defeated by Catch and Maestro being defeated by a piano chord, but at least they fit the character. Like, what was going on? There were some nice moments. I liked the ending with the family stuff and really meeting her mum. I liked the beginning stuff that's very Infinity War-esque. But man, there's a lot of that middle section that just drags and doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Like, telling me Sutek hitched a ride this whole time. Why have we never noticed? I wish I liked it, but to be honest with you boys, this one left me feeling rather deflated. And yeah, I don't have much more to say, but this is technically my 4th Who's There appearance. Let's go for number 5, baby! Tharis in the Christmas special one. Whoa!
Let's be real. He's probably going to come back before Christmas. Let's not even.
Yeah.
Let's just not stop being around the bush here.
It's a long time till Christmas.
The
Long
one thing
time
I will
till
say I disagree
Christmas.
with you on Ferries is I don't mind them saying that Sutek's been there the whole time. I think that's the kind of goofy stuff the Doctor Who can get away with, and I find quite funny. And the memes that come out of it, I'm quite happy. I don't mind that. But yeah, pacing wise, the rope, Crispy. What was with the rope? What was with the rope?
I don't know. And they tried to tie it back into Church on Ruby Road, which
He
I thought
called
was
it
funny.
intelligent rope, yeah. So I guess it goes hand in hand, pun intended, with the intelligent gloves. I'm guessing the idea is.
But oh man,
Well, he describes it as a
It's
molecular
just so
bond
ridiculous.
rope. And so I think of Rogue because he went then in his bond, molecular bond, when he was frozen in place and couldn't move. So even though they've not said it, and it would have been good to have said it, my insinuation is that clinging the rope onto something it can't be simply simply just unclung again. Like once it's hooked on, unless you do something, it's stuck on. So that's what I'm guessing. It was clipped onto Sutek, and Sutek was like, I'm going for walkies and I can't get this thing off, help me! Like, I'm guessing that was the idea. Otherwise, you would have thought Doggy with big doggy claws could just go, cut.
Sing.
Job done.
Yeah,
Job done.
look, I don't know. That's silly. That's real silly. Man, what an episode.
What an episode.
I can't believe it. I actually can't believe it.
Do you know what? I
Oh,
think it's time we
dearie.
open a big can of worms. Because there's a can we haven't opened yet, and I think we need to
Okay.
open it. Okay, and we're gonna. Do you know what, Crispy? We're gonna do another poll
No, dear.
because I want people's thoughts on this. Let me just type it out.
Okay, this is intriguing.
Crispy, say
me,
something. Say
sir.
something.
So I got up at 6:40 this morning, and it was very, very cold, and I should have put some socks on or something, because my toes are slowly falling off one by one from frostbite here in Australia. Okay,
That's
here we
really
go.
So, the poll is in the chat right now. I won't read out the name or results until we get a few more votes, but let's build up to a Crispy. So, there were a few big things in this episode. Some got their questions answered, some didn't. I will say, by the way, in case it doesn't come up later, I'm not at all surprised Miss Flood didn't get wrapped up. I saw it coming, didn't think that was going to get answered. Don't care that it wasn't,
No.
personally. I'm quite happy.
Yeah, that's fine.
And also a note I'll think on, because I don't know if I wrote it down. I didn't write it down. It's not in Troy's notes. The special feature coming later. Russell made a note that because they got a 2-season order for the
not
Disney
reading
Plus
that.
deal. What was that?
I'm not reading that.
Not reading what?
Oh
my days! Timothy Draycott with you $5 Thank you very much, but we're not reading sexy rope comments about Sutek. That's how I'm going to describe that. Not
Yep,
reading that
yeah,
out.
that's good.
I ain't reading that.
Funny,
I ain't
though.
reading that.
Very funny, though.
But what was I saying, Crispy?
I don't know. I'm distracted. We're talking about.
What was I saying, chat? Someone
Ruby's
help me.
parents. Ruby's parents.
Well, I was building up into that, Crispy. I haven't said it
I mean,
yet.
we're not
haven't said
talking
it
about
yet.
that. Sorry, my bad.
Oh, yeah, that was it. So, because they got a 2-season deal, Russell said in the commentary towards the end that he kind of wrote some of the stories with that 2-season order in mind. And so I think what he's maybe cooking here is 2 seasons that will form one grander story. And that's the Series 6 comparison I was going to make with you, which is that Series 6 is in 2 halves. And you could kind of watch them separately in some ways, but they have an overarching story. Some things get wrapped up at the mid-season finale point, like Who is River Song, equates to Who are Ruby's parents. Some things don't get wrapped up into the end until, like, how does the Doctor survive being shot, a la Who is Mrs. Flood. Feels very similar. I think it's almost a little bit depressing to think that it will take 2 seasons of the show to answer what 1 season would have done in 2011, but that's just down to episode count. But I think I'm going to be very interested, and hold me to this, folks, in a year's time, when season 2's over, looking at everything as one big double season thing, does everything flow a lot better?
I mean, bizarre. But I love your analysis there.
Thank you very much.
well
I
put.
try.
That-
This is what
I
happens when
mean,
you sit in your bedroom
Troy,
all day and don't do anything useful
You
to
are
society.
on fire right now, which is fantastic because I'm freezing. However, I think it's crazy that, one, this season opened with Space Babies, because what
Yep.
a bizarre choice for a series opener.
Absolutely.
And 2, if you're going to label something as season 1 of Doctor Who, my little marketing brain just can't fathom that you would make half, in your words just then, half a season pretty much. I feel like there's just a lot of bizarre, this is not at all the season I was expecting in the slightest. But there's some fantastic stuff, some episodes that I will take to the grave with me. Some of my favorite episodes of Doctor Who are in this season, but as one big whole thing, I I'm shocked.
I've seen people
I'm
ranking
shocked.
this among the other seasons, and I don't know how I could do it just yet. I really don't. I really need to
No,
think that
I
one
don't.
through.
I don't want to. I don't want to face that. I don't want to
Yeah.
face that. I was shocked. I was listening to the 50% Boys, and Connor, who I think's called in.
He has called in.
Yeah, maybe we should listen to him soon. But in The Legend of Ruby Sunday, he's like, dare I say, I might have had more fun with Flux than he did this season. And I was like, wow, that is a bold claim.
I mean, for me,
That
that
is
would
a
be
bold
like
claim.
that would be nothing because I really like Flux. But for him, I'm guessing that's a big statement.
Yeah, that's a huge. Yeah, but I mean, like, even like, do you think Flux was more consistent than this series?
I just
We
like
can talk
Flux
about it later.
Well, I mean,
We can
Flux
talk about
gets
it
special
later.
consideration for me because of the circumstances around it. It being set in Liverpool makes me
Absolutely.
biased. I love Dan Lewis. I like the overall story. If we were speaking objectively, Flux does not rank nearly as high as some of the seasons in Who, but personally for me, I really like it. Anyway, this is a big build-up to the big question. So, Sutek stuff, we've said, not really enough to do for Sutek, really, was dealt with very quickly and maybe inefficiently. Well, not inefficiently, but just not satisfactorily. Susan Triad, we know her deal. That was explained. But the big one, Ruby Sunday's parentage. Crispy, can you do the same jingle again, please?
Oh, I absolutely can. Just for you,
You
Troy.
guys missed poll time. You do it twice. It's poll time. I'll take the turn this time. Hey, there you go. I had to point
Very
at myself
good.
to check.
Very
So,
good.
this is ongoing in our live chat right now. So if you haven't yet voted, there are currently apparently about 115 viewers and only 63 votes. So I'm saying this now. In fact, I'm going to pause for 5 seconds and stare you in the eyes until you vote. Sorry, audio listeners. I had to do that for the bit. So I'm going to let everyone just put their votes in for a second. But we have asked, again, it's a yay or nay. Like it or hate it. I'm sorry. I'm going to make you pick one or the other. But did you like how Ruby's parents' story was wrapped up? And you can simply say yes or no. So we'll give it just a second, see if any of the votes shoot up at all. Shooty up, you might say. But Crispy, I ask you, did you like how the story of Ruby's parentage was wrapped up? Yes or no?
It's tough to express my opinion in a one-syllable word like that. I'm going to say a tentative yes.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that.
Because when it when it happened, when they put the pictures on the screen, I was like, oh.
Yeah, same.
But then the character work at the end and like the pub scene or whatever, I was like, oh, this is sweet, and it's very Russell to kind of, lead up to these we get these ideas worked up in our head, and then it ends up being like the most human thing ever and so real. So I enjoyed it. I think on second viewing I'll enjoy it much more. That I don't, I'm not like, oh my gosh, it's definitely Strax or something like that. So yeah, it's a yes, but it's like
I kind of
cool.
went into it thinking it's gonna be it's gonna be a random woman. It's gonna be some random woman. It's not actually gonna be anyone significant. I kind of figured that, but when they did it, I was still like, oh, it really is just that. It really is just that. I was like, well, the problem was it got to that point where I was like, you've hyped it up too much now. There's nothing that could possibly satisfy this. Do you know what I mean?
True.
I was like, I don't understand how you could. So I was like, it's more likely to just be a simple birth. But as you say, the work with that. Do you know what? It's funny. People say that Shooty cried too much during the season, like 15th Doctor was crying every episode. When I think about it, I've cried way more watching this season than any other season. I cried in Boom several times. I cried at Rogue. I cried at Empire of Death twice for two very big scenes, both at the end that I absolutely loved. One being Ruby with the mum, and the other being that final scene with 15 and Ruby, which we have to talk about later, because just off the bat, best scene of the whole season. But even though it could have been better, and I know, and I'll talk about why we think it could have been better, 'cause I think we're on the same page.
I haven't said anything.
And listen, mate, we've done 115 episodes of this podcast. I feel like I know you at least a little bit by this point.
I'm sorry to completely derail this, but do you reckon there's like light peering through my windows right now? Do you reckon I look like 15 in Boom?
Slightly, actually, yeah. Tilt your head more to your right. Oh, look at that. Actually, move your head a bit more as well. Like, move your head physically. Look at that. There you go. Enjoy Apple
Anyway,
Podcast
that's
listeners.
a fun
Anyway,
visual gag for our listeners.
I think the problem is I don't mind Ruby's mum being a random person.
No.
What I don't love is that it was hyped up so much that it kind of feels like an anticlimax. I think it was played into a
Yeah.
little bit too much for it to just be a nobody. And there's a very big debate right now as to about the snow. Was the snow really explained
Yeah, what
properly?
the hell-
I
what the
don't
heck's that
personally think
about?
it was. People are like, oh, in Legend of Ruby Sunday, the Doctor was like, it's such a wild point and it's all such a mystery that it's making snow appear. And everyone's now retroactively going, that was actually an explanation. I'm not convinced by that. I don't know if you are.
I'm not
Crispy.
convinced by it either.
No.
There
but
was something. There was something else I saw. I mean, the thing with when we do these reviews is that there's a lot of time to see like memes and reviews and theories and stuff. There, I don't know. There's a lot of questions still out there that I'm like, I don't think we'll ever get the answers
Crispy,
to. Well,
I've-
I can't think of any
I've
examples.
brought something onto the screen. Can you tell the listeners who are not seeing the video version what I have brought onto the screen?
Apple Podcast listeners, Troy has whipped out his lightsaber.
Do you know whose lightsaber it is? You might not, and it's fair.
Right.
Correct. Do you know why I have done that?
Because Disney Plus.
Oh, you don't know, do you?
I don't know. Tell me.
Okay, so here's an interesting fact. Again, from the Doc 2 commentary. These are really well worth watching.
Ooh.
Russell wrote Ruby's parentage, I joke you not, this is literally what he said, as a response to the Star Wars sequel trilogy.
Oh, what?
Because he said he watched those films and he liked how in The Last Jedi... Spoilers if you've not watched the Star Wars sequels, if I have to say that. But he said that he watched The Last Jedi and saw that Rey was a nobody and went, I really like that, I love that idea, and then didn't like that in Rise of Skywalker they undid that and went, she's Palpatine's granddaughter. He said he preferred the idea of the parent being a nobody, and he went, that was kind of an influence in how I wrote Ruby's story. Which, can I just say, as someone who likes The Rise of
Wow.
Skywalker a lot, I don't like that it was undone. I would have preferred it to be a nobody. I did like that too, so I'm with Russell on that.
So what you're telling me now is that when or slash if we ever find out who the father is, well, we know his name, but they're not going to be some kind of great deal.
The
are
father
they?
is Davros.
Father's actually Daddy Davros.
Oh,
Yeah.
don't call him Daddy. Please don't call him Daddy. But yeah, so there you go. So you've got a Star Wars thing influencing the writing. You've got Avengers and Spider-Man things influencing the visuals. I mean, this really is Disney Doctor Who.
Welcome
Crazy.
to Disney Who, yo.
Crazy. I realise actually I should just explain if you don't get the references. We mentioned it earlier. The Spider-Man No Way Home reference is probably the one that's harder to tell. But if you remember towards the end of the film, the sky cracks open with purple and villains about to seep on through until they undo it, which is very much like Sutek clawing the sky open and undoing everything. It was very ripped straight out of No Way Home.
But it's just like,
Do I need to explain
how?
the Infinity War
How does
tie-in?
that work?
Do I need to explain that? I shouldn't need to explain that, but I'll just say dust. And if you don't know,
Ashes to ashes, my
then you're
friend.
uncultured. All right, so let's look at the poll now. Then 83 votes, and this is fascinating. Once again, Crispy, almost the exact, in fact, literally the exact same result. If you excuse the bad
Oh
maths
my
of the last
gosh.
poll, 53% do not like how the story was wrapped up, against 47 who did like it. Out of 83 votes.
This is exactly it. This is exactly it. And maybe, are we in an age where it's going to be so incredibly hard to deliver the perfect season of Doctor Who? Is that an impossible task? Is everyone so split on everything now that, like, you know, no matter what you thought of the Chibnall era, I think that this era has been better serving the characters. They've obviously increased the budget. I've definitely got problems with this series, but will we ever have a perfect season of Doctor Who again?
I'll give you a very
Because
simple
of
answer, and
us.
it will tie into next week's
Because
episode.
of us.
Not with this episode count, it won't.
Stop the count.
I
Stop
think
the
there's
count.
too few episodes that will means we'll always have this problem, but we'll get into that next week.
All right.
There you
I'll
go.
see you then.
There you go. Crispy, should we have another caller?
Yeah, why
Just a
not?
bump along episode, this. And then we got a regular feature, and then we got my new feature, and then we'll just have a few more callers in between.
I spoke about him before. Here's Connor Hannum from the 50% Boys.
Connor Hannum, what have you got?
Hi, it's Connor from the 50% Doctor Who podcast.
Oh, dear.
It's currently 11:42 in Perth right now. I'm about to go to bed, but that's okay because I'll do anything to be on the show because I love it.
We love you too.
My thoughts on this episode, I think it's incredibly flat. I don't know what went wrong, but something clearly did. And I'm a bit baffled by a lot of the decisions in it. A lot of it just didn't work, and it felt like we were kind of building up to something that just didn't really pay off at all. And in the end, when Ruby and the Doctor depart, despite the fact they might be coming back together in series 2, it just didn't. It fell flat for me personally. Although when I was watching it, I was sort of enjoying it. I don't think it's an episode I would ever really rewatch or revisit. But still, it's hopefully not all is lost. I still have faith in the show, I suppose. But yeah, it kind of just feels like all the fandom is agreeing with each other that it was just not that great, and that sucks. It should have been a lot more than this. A lot more. But either way, sad.
Could have been so much more, you might say.
Wow.
Wow.
What a time to be a Doctor Who fan.
Welcome
now
to
we're going
Doctor
back
Who
into
Therapy
the abyss.
With Troy and Crispy. We're just letting everyone vent their frustrations and say that you're so
Yeah.
valid. You know?
Crikey.
I know.
Crikey.
How do you... I mean, do you know, maybe it's an interesting point to say as well. I've found myself several times this season now where rewatching an episode has changed my thoughts. Do you think that's necessarily a bad thing for this season? It might just be the way that I consume media now, because I will say, like, a lot of films, things I don't watch as much as I used to. There was times like 5 years ago I'd go to a cinema 5-6 times for like a Marvel film that I really liked because I'd love soaking up. I wouldn't do that now. Whereas
Would you not?
No, I don't think so. I watched the Marvels like 2 times in the cinema, and I was like, I'm done with that. That's good.
You watched it 3 times.
Was it 3 times?
Well, you
okay,
told me
I
3
lose track.
times.
Well, that was big for me. Whereas like, I mean, I'll admit to it right now. I saw Endgame 10 times in the cinema. I lapped that
crazy.
thing up. I literally spent a day
more
of my
than
life
a day of
watching
your
it.
life. Yeah. Crikey,
So-
Moses.
But like when I think about previous Doctor Who series, I think I might have done it with Flux, in fairness. But certainly series 12 going backwards, I can't remember every week watching the episode twice. And I've done that with every episode this season, sometimes more, other than 73 Yards. I haven't brought myself to watch that again yet, but I am going to watch it again soon. Because I'm just kind of like, maybe
that's the one I've watched the most. I absolutely adore that. We can get into that in our series discussion.
Yeah,
I'm actually really excited to do a big retrospective look at this series. But we'll get there next week.
If I can,
We'll
I'm
get
going to
there
try and
next
watch
week.
all the episodes again before we record. It depends on how soon we record, honestly, Crispy. So, we'll see.
You know what I watched last night, Troy?
What did you watch?
I watched Toy Story 3.
One of
And
the
that
greatest
is-
films ever made.
Hands down, one of the greatest movies. I could not believe how good of a film that is. It's so grown up.
It's up there with Shrek
In
2,
many-
like some of the best
Yeah,
films ever
yeah.
produced.
Yeah, wow.
There you go.
We should watch that.
There you go. Right,
Yeah,
Crispy.
anyway, that's just a side note.
Can we have our other regular theme for Who's There, a Doctor Who podcast?
Yep, absolutely. Here we go, baby.
Roll it.
Let's go. Come on. Oh no. Wrong sound. Wrong sound.
Bingo! What? Bingo!
The chat went bingo, and then you play hot takes. The chat was excited. Oh. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Also, Mr. Scarlo just said Toy Story 3 is overrated. Toy Story 2 is better. Haven't seen 4. I won't touch on your opinion earlier, but I will say don't bother with 4.
Counter argument.
Really?
Quite good. Unnecessary. Completely
I
unnecessary.
cannot stand that film. It literally leaves the characters in the worst place than they were in Toy Story 3, and it makes me think, why does it exist?
Yeah.
So,
But, I mean, like...
we're not going there. We're not going there.
Toy Story 5 is going to be great.
Yeah, don't even go. I can't believe they're making a 5th one. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bingo. It's a very sad time, folks, because we don't have as much to cross off here as I thought we might. But also very glad, I will just say right away, I'm very glad the 14th Doctor did not return. You know I'm a 14 lover, but I said right from the start, I did not want him to show up. I had a feeling he would. I'm very glad that I was wrong in that, because I knew it would have undermined Shooty, so I'm glad he didn't show up.
Can
However,
you imagine if he just died, or if we saw all of the noble clan just
well,
die?
George's idea was really good. I really like the idea of 14 being killed by Sutek to set up the threat, but he's open.
Oh
so,
yeah,
we'll
they
get
kind of. I mean, they killed the entirety of Unit to kind of set up the threat, but that would have hit
14
hard.
Spin-off,
yeah.
Crispy. We can still get the 14 spin-off down the line. So,
Yeah,
ladies
cool.
and gentlemen, well, Crispy, you're the only one who can answer this question. What can we cross off on the bingo card today?
Ruby Sunday's parents revealed is
can.
most definitely the most prominent one there.
Yes, we
and
can.
I don't know if we can do much else.
Well, unfortunately, folks, that's the problem. Because allow me to run you all through, for the audio listeners, the cards that we have left, you can hear my computer jingle there, probably in the podcast as well, because I won't be bothered to take it out. Sorry. But you can see on the bingo card, these are the following squares that we have not checked off on the card. Jonathan Groff is a time agent. He wasn't. Martha Jones returns. She didn't. Davina McCall returns. She didn't. And even if we count them mentioning her by name, it still wouldn't give us bingo. 73 yards is a 10 out of 10. It's not. Meddling Monk returns. He didn't. 15 dies. He didn't. Donna Noble returns. He didn't. She didn't. The 14th Doctor returns. He didn't. However, Crispy, the one I really hoped hoped more than anything we'd get,
should have
because
happened.
it would have given us bingo. Well, one off would have been 15 and Ruby high-fiving. That would have been great.
I can't believe the whole season never happened.
Do you know what, Crispy? Do you know what?
Yeah.
Okay? I'm going to tell you right now, good sir. I am a bit like a certain showrunner that I like to call Mr. Stephen Moffat. Because I don't like things having bad endings. You know? I think you come here to be entertained. You come here to hear two nerds who probably shouldn't be talking about Doctor Who this much at our ages, talking about Doctor Who. Okay? That's what you come here for. And so, I have done this.
Oh, wow.
Look at that. I spent hours on this.
Describe it to the people, Troy.
Folks, I spent hours on this masterpiece. I definitely didn't do it for across 20 seconds on paint.net before we went live. This beautiful piece of 15 and Ruby high-fiving.
Wow.
Look at that.
Can we post this to our Twitter with no context?
We could.
Wow.
Notice how, because I wanted to have a black
Can't believe
background, I
it.
gave Shooty blue hair because he has the kind of blue highlights in his hair. You know, I put attention there. I put that attention there.
Yeah, you could see the detail.
So because of that amazing art, which I'm saying is canon, happy ending, boom! Look at that! Crispy, what do we have?
We have bingo.
We have bingo!
We
Play
have
the
bingo.
theme one last time!
All right. I'm trying to find it. We'll just do this.
Bingo!
All right.
Yay.
Boom.
Yay.
There you go.
Yay.
There you go. Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen,
Can't believe it.
there's your bingo. We have succeeded in bingo, even if we had to twist the narrative to do it, but you know what? That's what Stephen Moffat would do, and we love Stephen Moffat here.
And
So
we'll
thank
see him
you
at
for
Christmas,
listening
eh?
to that
That's
sentence.
exciting.
Crispy, we've got the Patreon
Yeah.
callers, we've got my notes, maybe a couple more callers. What do you want to do? This is the longest episode we've done in a while, and I'm honestly quite happy about it. It's cathartic, it's therapy.
Let's go. Let's see what Sam said. Sam called in.
Is this
Hello.
Sam, our friend Sam?
This is our friend Sam.
He's now my
friend of the
bestie as well as
podcast.
yours. What's a guest from
Hello,
episode
lads.
5?
So my thoughts on Empire of Death. After last week's episode, I was super keen for the finale because I thought last episode was amazing. My thoughts for Empire of Death, to sum it up in one word, underwhelming. I'm sure there's people that absolutely love it, and that's great. By all means, go for it. For me, it didn't really hit the mark. I felt like there was a lot going on. They tried to wrap things up in one episode, which I feel like was maybe their downfall. Like maybe, this sort of story could have lasted maybe 3 episodes. It might have been a bit better. But the main reason why it was underwhelming for me was all the stuff with Ruby. I feel like after so much happening with her during this season, all the hints and the teasers of what could be, like she could make it bloody snow, guys. And that was never addressed in the end. A human girl cannot just make it snow on any planet she goes to. So yeah, this was a bit of a long recording. I apologise for that, but I hope you guys are well. Hope you're having fun, and Alonzi.
Alonzi, baby. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you, Sam. And it prompted a very good question, which I have done one more poll for.
One more.
Because actually, I hadn't thought about it, but I have seen a few people say this, so I'm intrigued to get our audience's thoughts. And while they're answering it, Crispy, I ask you, would this finale have worked better had it been a 3-part story as opposed to a 2-part?
Look, Troy, my boy, excellent question, and thank you for having me on today. Really appreciate it.
You're not welcome.
Thank you. So, that's a really great question. I never considered that. Maybe, but I mean, you run the risk of. I think you made the comparison actually on Twitter, which I thought was, that's funny. Having a Monk trilogy thing, having a Monk, like if it's a 3-part and it's not your favorite, it's not your favorite story. then you've wasted 3 episodes. And with with a series with only 8 episodes and like almost half your season is the finale, I don't like. Look, it wasn't going to happen this series. The most parters we're going to get is a 2-parter. I don't think we're going to see a 3-parter next season. Maybe they could have had an extra 10 minutes at the end of Rogue to set things up a little bit more potentially, but I don't know. Anyway, I pass you off to Troy, who's about to make a very, very good point.
I was just getting very excited because you mentioned it, and I don't know if anyone else has made this point, but my hope is that in making it, everyone will either go, good point, or I hate that you've said that. Probably more likely the latter. But I came out of the cinema with a very distinct thought as a big Series 10 enjoyer, and I really want to know if people spot this same comparison. I see Empire of Death, the resolution of the villain, as almost a carbon copy of the resolution of the Monk trilogy in Lie of the Land. If I need to remind you, in Lie of the Land, the monks have full control over the planet. They control history. They control what everyone's believing, thinking, and suppressing anyone who tries to say anything else. You were ready to press that a little early, I feel like, buddy. And it's resolved by Bill inserting memories of a woman where the memories are not founded on reality. She pollutes their history with something that they've not seen and not overwritten, and that's what breaks the simulation and breaks their influence. In this episode, the thoughts and the importance of Ruby's mother, who is just deemed important when she's an ordinary person, she's made important by the narrative when really there's nothing special to her, that power is enough to stop Sutek and stop his Empire of Death. Tell me you don't see the similarities. Don't think it's a bad thing or a good thing. I just came out the cinema like, that's really similar. That's really similar. So, just let me know. I want at least one person to go, I hate you that you said that, because they'll be thinking of the Lie of the Land. I know it's not a popular episode. I like it. I'm a Lie of the Land enjoyer. Even if the regeneration bit in it was just done for trailers. But there you go. There you go.
Wow, Troy. So many good observations.
Thank you.
So many good observations.
As for our poll, 70% out of the 56 votes so far think it would have been better as a 3-parter. And
finally,
honestly,
something we can agree on.
Oh, I don't agree. I actually don't.
Oh, I just mean a consensus.
Oh, right, yeah.
Everything else was split.
This is an interesting point, but my thing is, I don't think there was enough going on in the finale with regards to Sutek. If you had a 3rd part in there, I'd be like, ooh.
He's still just sat there.
I think the 2-parter was the right amount. I just don't think it was utilised correctly, personally. But it's intriguing to see so many people think a 3-parter would have worked better. Then again, maybe just fleshing out more and having it like a Turn Left, Stolen Earth, Journey's End, where the first episode isn't like centered around the Daleks and Davros, but it ties into it. Maybe that would have been better. Yeah, that could have been good. That could have been a good idea. Who knows? I don't know. But
wow.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. Doctor Who Mania in the chat. We should be reading more of the chat. I'm sorry, folks. We will give you a section later because everyone else has got a section. I think 73 Yards could have been part 1 of a 3-part finale. That could have been interesting if they tied that more into Sutek. I don't know how they do that, and I think that might ruin your enjoyment of the episode if it had done that. But that's an interesting idea.
What if they move 73 yards to the end?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. That's a weird.
Well, I mean, there's other points to make about episodes being moved around. Like, did you see that thing going on Twitter about someone saying that they'd watched season 1 through, but swapped Rogue and Devil's Cord around, and everything flowed a lot better, apparently?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I kind of want to do that.
Fun.
I kind of want to do that.
I saw my sister tagged me in a TikTok the other day, and I think someone's set up like an actual thing where you can find this, but the worst way or the best way, given your argument, to watch Doctor Who is to watch the episodes in the order in which the time they land. So like
that's like that ridiculous plan that people have for the MCU where they go watch it in chronological like time order, which I hate.
Timeline order.
I hate
Can you imagine that
so
with
much.
Each episode of Doctor Who.
That means your first Marvel film is Captain America: The First Avenger, and then you're on to Captain Marvel, which has an end credit scene about half of the Avengers being dead. Like, it's a terrible idea. Don't do that with Doctor Who. I feel that'd be even worse.
I'll do it. Worse. I'll make a video with Doctor Who saying I watched Doctor Who in chronological order.
Okay. All right, Crispy. Can we get my section of my random thoughts out the way so we can get into the Patreon calls and finish? Have you got a jingle for me?
Yeah, I've got a jingle for you.
What have you got for me? It can be clown noises.
Powered by Riverside FM.
Welcome to Troy's Thoughts. Okay, Some of this stuff we've already said. Some things I'm going to ignore intently to leave for next week's episode, but just a few extra thoughts that we haven't mentioned that I want to get through, because every time we finish a podcast episode, there's usually something where I go, bugger, I meant to mention that, especially with these last few reviews. So, first off, early in the episode, the Doctor sends the soldier in the time window to somewhere called Bunker 17, and she's never heard from again. What gives? Did he sentence her to death? What is Bunker 17? What's that about?
Weird.
My theory is that
know.
Bunker 17 is some kind of, like, nuclear shelter inside of UNIT, and he's like, I'll send you there because you'll be safe from the dust. If that's the case, shame that it wasn't
Just
used
say
more,
it.
because you could have sent people
Say
like
it.
Kate, etc. there, and then they could have been kind of giving Shooty 15 help during the second act of the episode. Maybe some little correspondence that Sutek isn't aware of. That could have been great.
Could have.
There you
Should
go.
have.
Troy for showrunner. Thought it was weird. There's some of these don't need responses. Thought it was weird that Shooty could go into the remembered TARDIS, but then had to have Ruby remember more of it for everyone else to get in. Thought that was a bit odd.
Odd.
I feel like no, that's for next time. That's for next time. The idea that Ruby was named by her mum through pointing at a sign is one of the most stupid things I've seen in this show. I'm sorry, I have no
Audible
tolerance for
laugh.
it.
Audible laugh. We made a joke of it at the start, but yeah, weird.
Absolutely ridiculous. First off, doing the soap opera whoosh point. Like, you could have had a Vine boom in there. It was so dramatic. But the idea that she pointed at a sign at 15 years old and was like, yeah, exactly. And that someone would have saw that and gone, that mum who's running away with the kid, instead of running up to her and going, is this your baby? Will go, oh, that woman's pointing, oh, the baby she's left, let's call her Ruby. No one's doing that.
That's not how humans work. That's not how humans
honestly,
work.
Russell, I love you to bits, and I say this with all love in the world. That is the most pathetic thing I think I've seen you write. I'm sorry, and I say it with love.
It's
I
just
love
an
the man.
odd choice.
I love the man, but I do not understand what the logic was there. That was so dumb. So
Maybe
dumb.
if she was like, oh, I was gonna say, well, she's left at the church. You wouldn't leave a baby next to a lamp post. Like, I'm trying to think of a different way, because the idea of being named after the street you were found on is a beautiful idea. I think it's real, but like, I don't know. I don't know if there is a non-cringe way to name. Like, I don't know how they would have done that without being like an eye roll moment. I actually don't know how they would have done that.
I think it's one of those things where he added a few too many. It's again, it plays into this whole the parents thing was overhyped. There were too many things going on and too many things building up. You could have taken that point bit out, and it would have made it. Not only would it have made it less hyped up, but it also would have removed a whole thing that you didn't need to answer. I don't think the story is made better by the woman turning around pointing. You have your hand up, Crispy. You can just speak,
I have
my
a
boy.
question. I have a question. Maestro, remember when Maestro said,
no.
He couldn't have been there. He wasn't there on the night of your birth, or the ancient one, the one. Do you remember that?
Oh,
when
yeah.
Ruby. Yeah. Well, who was that? Who's the ancient one? The 15-year-old? That's quite young, not ancient.
No, I think she means Sutek.
Sutek could. Oh well, I suppose he was there.
Because they know. Is Maestro Shield there? I don't know. Maestro knows that knows the one who waits and teases the one who waits, who is Sutek. So it makes sense that if Maestro knows Sutek, Maestro could also refer to them and their part or his part
all right, that's
in that.
fair
So
enough.
I think that.
All right.
Okay, other things. Love that the remembered TARDIS that's used in Tales of the TARDIS was created as a result of Empire of Death. They filmed Empire of Death first and went, we should use the set more, and the 60th was coming up, so they went, let's use it for Tales of the TARDIS. So
What?
that only exists because Russell created remembered TARDIS for season 1, which I think is really cool.
Wow.
It's a good way to reuse sets.
Wow.
Colonel Ibrahim is the coolest person I've ever seen, because twice in this 2-part finale, when everyone else is panicking or things are happening, he just stands completely motionless. The funniest one was last week, which I wish I'd mentioned, which is when the time window explodes, everyone ducks for cover, and he's just stood on the stairs like that. Proper, like, Chad vibes.
This doesn't phase me.
Yeah, and then when everyone's turning to dust in the unit office, no one's really moving around too much, but he is again just kind of stood there, just like not even turning around. I'm gonna turn to dust. You know what? I'm just gonna take this taking it like a champ, as Negan would say.
Yeah,
across
wow.
The Walking Dead. So I love that. Kate and Ibrahim getting together is extremely weird. Not because of sexualities, as Twitter would try and make it sound to be, but because it's just a strange thing that wasn't set up.
It's an odd, but like maybe it's like all we did was see them hold hands.
Yeah. Like, well,
what if it's
and also
what if it's
looking through his
revealed
eyes?
What if it's revealed next season that it's Kate's son?
I doubt it.
I doubt it too, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. There's some people who've, like, just as a note, some people are really complaining about this on Twitter, about, oh, Kate Stewart's been made straight, blah, 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 blah. Can we just talk about how headcanons for sexualities are a bit weird? Can I just say that? Like, a little bit odd. Like,
yeah.
I don't want to take... this is not a you can't have fun thing, because if anyone knows me well, you know I'm one of the persons who would never, ever say that. But, like, if it's for a character where you don't know the sexuality, yeah, imagine what you want. But if they do say this is something, then don't... Just, there are other characters out there you can headcanon. The funniest one was when Peter Parker... Everyone was like, oh, like, someone was like, oh, Peter Parker's, like, he's not straight, he's bisexual. It's like, no, Stanley's literally said he's straight. You can make a different Spider-Man. People can be weird about this, but the biggest reaction was Kate Stewart being like, Kate Stewart isn't gay? And it's like, she literally said in Series 8 she was a divorced mother of 2. This isn't news that she likes a fella here and there. I just thought that was weird. And I have friends who've said that they felt it was weird, so I'm not saying anything against you, I promise you. I just think it's a bit odd that people are taking that so seriously. Is that just me?
We could do a whole episode on the weirdness.
Let's
of
not
fandom.
do that. We'll put targets on our backs. We'll put targets on our backs.
Not just that. Just fandom in general is a fascinating thing. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Daisy Prez said she said it much better than I just said it. I think having headcanons is weird. Sorry. I don't think having headcanons is weird, but I think getting mad when it's not reflected in the canon is silly. That's a much better way of saying it. Like, it's not that deep at the end of the day, but it is a weird reaction. It's a weird reaction.
Yeah.
Final other bits, I would say, very weird we didn't see Susan this season. I really thought that was set up too much. For her to not show up is a bit odd.
I thought that was the end.
But
I thought that was going to be the final scene.
I think she'll tie into Mrs. Flood. I think that's the reason we've not seen her yet. I think it plays into this wider thing that said about 2 seasons forming a grander story. If Susan doesn't show up in season 2, then I'm really confused with what's going on there because there's too much setup.
And what a crazy ending with Mrs. Flood. Anyway, we'll get there.
And then finally, my last thing, which actually just set up a topic. 15 gets attached to people very quickly. It's quite clear just from the way things with Ruby. But I don't buy the best friendship too much, which is why, even though that last scene in the TARDIS between 15 and Ruby, which genuinely is my favourite scene of this season, and honestly, upon reflection, I will say it's one of my favourite scenes of this show for like the emotion of it and the writing of it. It could have been better because that goodbye, it's not as strong as it could be because I just don't feel like they've been together long enough.
No.
This plays into an argument that we're going to get into next week.
Odd.
Some people are saying that the series only having 8 episodes doesn't matter and it would be fine. It's the development within those episodes that's not up to par. You might be right, but not enough development and not enough episodes are not mutually exclusive issues. I think they're both issues. I think just the inherent nature of having 10, 12, 13 episodes allow you to get more attached to a character and their relationship. And it's even worse when you remember that season 1, the first 2 episodes dropped back to back. So it's not even a 7-week span, it's a 6-week span all these episodes came out across. So we haven't had a chance to really absorb their relationship so much. So even though I adore that final scene and it had me crying, I will happily admit to that twice. It's done it once. It was on one of my screens, so I wasn't really fully paying attention. But both times I was fully watching it, it really got me. But I just wonder how much better it could have been if we'd had much more time before that scene. Crispy, your thoughts?
Yeah. Oh, completely agree. At the end, as you said, the last 10 minutes, I was like, this is good stuff. This is what the finale...
Peak Russell writing.
Like, this is what Russell does. He's very good at this stuff. The very humany-woomany. Anya, Russell. Good stuff. Humany-woomany. I just think that... Oh, I almost showed my foot on the screen.
I was going to say, crispy socks? What was that?
I'm distracted now. The relationship between Doctor and companion is a very sacred thing. Shooty's Doctor has obviously got a lot more heart. Gets very attached to things. As we saw in Rogue, this Doctor has a big heart for a big universe, and I love that. That's great. But when you have an episode that is have a season that is 8 episodes, and have 2 of those without the Doctor primarily.
Oh yeah.
And that we premiere with the double billing. It does feel like we have less time with the Doctor and the companion. So yeah.
And the TARDIS.
I'm in 100. Yeah. What was up with that?
I couldn't believe that last week. Is anyone more knowledgeable than me out there can clarify on this? Because season 1 was filmed miles ahead of time. They started in December of 2022 and wrapped in July 2023.
Correct.
Let me just explain this. Was the TARDIS set actually done? Is that why they weren't using it as much? Because in my head, I'm wondering if it's entirely possible.
They filmed the 60th. They had this film the 60th
could even the 60th shots have been done close to the time? You wouldn't have known they were filmed in Bad Wolf. I'm wondering this now. Like, I've got no evidence for this. This is just something that was in the back of my head because I was watching Unleashed and they were talking about some of the TARDIS sets, and I was like, maybe they've not filmed much of the TARDIS because it wasn't ready. And that's why they made a Remember TARDIS. They had 8 TARDIS scenes for the film.
100% was ready. 100% was ready.
Well, if that's the case, then I don't know why it wasn't in it more. Because
they filmed the 60th stuff before December of 2022, right?
Well, 15 and Ruby only had TARDIS interior scenes in Space Babies, The Devil's Cord, and Empire of Death. That's it. No other interior scenes. That's what leads me to believe it wasn't ready.
Really weird.
The TARDIS leak was in December 2022. Okay, so then I'm crazy. Then I've no idea.
Yeah,
no idea.
No, crazy.
I don't know.
I don't
just think that was
understand.
strange. It's very, very strange. I don't know.
What? But why? Like, I feel like I did a whole assessment in grade 9 talking about Doctor Who. Like it was used as an example in the class, and they were talking about staples of a story. And the TARDIS is home. The TARDIS is kind of, the central perk in Friends. It's the cafe. It's the pub in How I Met Your Mother.
It's
the
McLaren's
central
pub. Yep.
Thank you. It's a central play. And the TARDIS is so important to Doctor Who. So important. And obviously the TARDIS did have a big presence this series, but for other reasons. But I felt like just give us a top and tail at maybe not even top and tail. Just give us a TARDIS scene every episode with just the two of them catching up. One of my favorite TARDIS scenes ever is in series 9.
Yep, I knew this was coming.
Under the lake.
Under the lake.
When the Doctor kind of just like checks in with Clara, being like, "Hey, I think you might be a bit too excited. What we do is kind of dangerous. I can see that you might be getting kind of caught up in this life." It would have been so incredible if we kind of had a scene checking in with the Doctor and Ruby. Maybe Ruby could have been like, "So we really can't go back in time to see who my mum was?" And the Doctor's like, "Absolutely not. I'm not messing with that time stream. Have a fight, have an argument, do a kill the moon." So I think just some of those stuff could have been really, really powerful. But when we just kind of start each of the stories within the story, great for pacing. You're like, all right, let's get right into it.
But you can have one at the end of the episode.
Yeah, I'm shocked that we didn't utilize the TARDIS more, not only because it's such a glorious set, but for the character purposes and to kind of understand Ruby and the Doctor more. I'm shocked. I think that might be one of the solutions. And I don't know if they were like, we need to cut it for time. We need to get rid. Disney were like, nah, look, we've spent enough money on the TARDIS set. You can have it whenever, but we really need to have these episodes be tight 45. Those are the first ones to go.
Think about Rogue.
I don't know.
And that final scene with 15 and Ruby where he's like, right, let's move on. And Ruby's like, stop for a second. You could have started that scene outside the TARDIS. The TARDIS is next to Rogue's ship. I know they didn't show the ship taking off, probably for budget reasons. But they could have started it outside the TARDIS and him been like, I'm sending the ship off to the moon. Boom. Do the salute. Get in the TARDIS. And then he's like claps. Right. Like, where do you want to go? Where do you want to go? Start going around the console, pulling things. Maybe he's ignoring Ruby. And she's like, you can stop for a second. He goes, no. Pulls the main handbrake off. And then she puts it back on. And goes, stop, gives him a hug. You could have done it in the TARDIS, it would have been great. Like, the scenes that exist in the show right now, in that season, that could have been done in the TARDIS that weren't, I feel like. I don't know.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
Nah, great stuff.
Either way.
We need to take some callers, my friend.
We do. Shall we do our Patreon section and then maybe hopefully get a couple more at the end? So you go on the soundboard.
Absolutely.
Folks, as you all know, we will take 1 or 2 more calls at the end and have a bit of a live chat section. We're going to wrap up within the next 20 minutes because it'll be midnight if we don't in the UK. So it's a bumper episode, this one, baby. Whew, I'm going to do no editing to this. I'll be real to you. I'm going to keep this as it is. So I hope it sounds good.
Raw and live.
Chop and change, job done. But if you don't already know by now, every month we do a live episode here on the YouTube channel. And that means the people who pledge on our Patreon at the top tier, the David Tennant's My Dad tier.
One of the tiers.
$15.
One of the greatest tiers.
Gets to put in a call in the episode. Now, this is typically, the live episodes are exclusively Patreon callers. We lifted that for these last months and this month.
Because
we didn't want to limit you guys to giving your opinions on the episodes. So as of next month, it'll go back to the live episodes being Patreon-only callers. So if you want to support us and you can afford to, please consider heading over to patreon.com/Who'sThereDW. Link will be available somewhere that you can find, no doubt. But we have 4 Patreon callers, and the only note I've got for you, Crispy, is that Conor McRae said that his call should either come first or last. Do with that what you will. So
I'll save it for the end.
Let's go. Let's see what else. And I will say, from what I've read, it seems like at least 2 or 3 of these 4 callers have gone Conor McRae mode. Like, people are, like, the patrons are getting really creative now, and I love this, and I think it makes it exciting for all of us.
All right, let's
So-
hear Grace.
Grace, what have you
Hello,
got?
Grace. How are you? Is it going to load for us? Surely. Please load. Please load. Grace, where are you, mate?
Hi,
Oh,
Troy and
right.
Crispy. Sorry again about the call-in last month. I still have no idea who recorded the voice in the middle part of that. Anyway, I was wondering about this question, and I'll phrase it in a fairy tale for fun and say, mirror, mirror on the wall, which is your favorite episode of this season? Weird sound from my bathroom. I'll be back in a moment.
There we go again.
Oh my god.
Here we go again.
Okay, there it is, same as last time. Okay, hi Troy and Crispy, it's me, Grace, for sure. So, again, ignore whatever question I just asked, and instead answer this one. Who is your favorite guest appearance this season? And also, don't worry about me or my future selves, everything's fine.
What is that sound?
Why did the paradox field just stop? That only happens when the paradox is resolve. Whatever, bye.
What is going on?
Hello, Troy and Crispy. Thank you for your patience. I have returned from the disturbance, and I can report to you that everything is fine and there is no cause for alarm. Regardless, I am sincerely hoping that you answer my question and not any other questions may have been asked in the interim by a time traveler. Thank you immensely for your cooperation in this matter. I hope you enjoy your day.
Wow.
Pretended to C3PO
Grace.
at the end. What the hell was that?
Grace, there's a lot going on.
Yep.
There is a lot going. I hope there seems to be some kind of time paradox cloning. You've got a whole plot arc going on there.
I don't know what question they want us to answer, I'll be honest with you.
I think.
Which one was it?
I'm going to answer the favorite episode of the season. Was that a question?
That was the one we were not supposed to answer.
Oh, I'll answer that one.
Okay. Boom.
73 yards.
Okay. Sorry. What was the actual question, Grace? Are you here?
I'm not sure. Is the question, can we save you? I
Yeah.
don't know if we can save you from this situation, Grace.
Maybe. Do you know what? Let's answer the wrong question and see what happens to their call next month. Maybe it'll ruin the paradox and their narrative
no.
will be sent off course. So, there you go.
Cool.
There you
All
go.
right.
There you
Done.
go. I was wrong, by the way.
Okay.
It's not Connor's call that should be first or last. It's Dr. Whovian's. Connor said it about Dr. Whovian. So now, leave Dr. Whovian's till last. So,
Okay.
go from there.
Let's go Beast Boss.
Beast Boss. Come on. Beast Boss time, baby. Look at those beasts.
Hello, Beast Boss. Where are you? Come on. Come on now.
Hey, it's me. So, hold on to your maps, caps, and oh my god, this season slaps. Because it's Beast Boss time. An average score of 9.31 out of 10 is nothing to be sneezed at, unless you're a space baby. Shooty is already making me consider him as potentially my favourite Doctor, which is saying something, because Peter Capaldi is my goat. Empire of Death was really, really good. 9.75 out of 10. I have a few too many nitpicks for it to be a 10 in my book. Question for you both. What do you think is the funniest since Pyramids of Mars? What do you think of an answer? I'll tell you that I'm working on a YouTube video with a brief summary of what I think of every episode since 2005 that's coming at some point next week. Also, Minecraft videos sometime soon. But until then...
I'm reporting you to the caster! Crispy, can you
Wow.
please tell me what the question was he asked? Because unfortunately the call cut out for about 5 seconds in the middle of him asking it, so I don't know what he said. And neither does the
Oh.
listener. I'm so sorry.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I have all the power here.
You do. You can change the question if you want, but I'm not sure he'll approve of that.
How exciting. Oh, no, the question was, what's the funniest situation that Sutek's been put in, do you think, since Pyramids of Mars?
Okay,
Um,
okay.
I like the Capaldi listen one. I really like that.
There is
idea.
a picture, and I showed this my mum earlier, and I'm putting it on the podcast. I'm so sorry, I don't know who this was, because I'll be honest, it was like 2 in the morning, and I copied and pasted this image. So I'm so sorry if this is your image, and I'm not crediting you. If you're in the chat, you happen to be, tell me.
Oh, surely.
But this image, Crispy, is the funniest thing. I just love it. I just love it. So you can describe it to the audio listeners. I'm going to put it full
Have
screen.
you got it? Where is
Here
it?
you are.
Oh, there we are. Oh, wow. Okay, very good. So this is a scene from the end of the 50th anniversary special, Day of the Doctor, where they are at the National Gallery. And there are 3 TARDISes parked next to each other, and they're all looking at the painting. But on top of every TARDIS is a massive Sutek, just enjoying the art, being like, "This is a bit weird." That's really funny. That's very good, actually. That's hilarious.
But yeah, that's my
Um,
favorite one, I think.
Do you reckon in Flatline, Sutek was shrunk as well?
That's a good point. Probably.
That would have been a strange.
Do you think
experience.
he takes any damage that like is sustained, like the TARDIS sustained? Like if the TARDIS had got hit, say, by the train in Flatline, would he have been flattened by a
TARDIS
train?
got blown up multiple times from the silence,
Or baked in Journey's End. It was in the Dalek Crucible incinerator core thing.
You know what?
Did
If
Sutek get a
anything,
tan?
I now understand why Sutek was so mad.
Yeah.
Sutek was just chilling. It was like, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of how you treat the TARDIS.
Oh.
Sutek would have been around for the Doctor's wife, being like, the third wheel. Be like,
I've seen a meme
okay.
of that as well. Like, as the Doctor's wife, like, as Idris is saying goodbye and the Doctor's wife, she's like, I just wants to say, Sutek's been hanging on to the TARDIS for the last 7 incarnations. I don't know what to do about it. Please help me.
By the way, there's this weird growth on the TARDIS. It looks like a dog.
I think maybe if there's a weird growth on your TARDIS, you should go to the Doctor, folks. There's been a message from
Yeah,
who's there.
absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
who's next? I think that would be Conor McRae.
Conor McRae
Right.
saves the day.
Actual audio drama this time, please. No ranting about kids. I'm begging you, Connor. You save
We'll
my day.
see.
Come on, save my day.
We'll see. Hello, Conor McRae. Welcome back to the show. Thank you very much for your contributions. We appreciate you and everything you do.
All right, settle down, settle down. Okay, welcome everyone to the end of season roll call. I'm going to call out a couple of names, all right? Maestro?
You called.
Good. John Francis Vater?
Hello, I'm John Francis Vater.
Lovely. A future Welsh Prime Minister who has all of the nuclear codes? Yeah, probably for the best he didn't show up. Rogue?
Roll for insight.
Uh-huh. Returning villain from a long-forgotten Tom Baker episode?
Did you think I was family?
Yeesh. And finally, Lindy.
Shut up! I hate you! I hate you! I hate you!
You hate me. You hate me.
I hate you! You killed Ricky September! He was the best character in the show, and you killed him! How dare you! How dare you stand where he stood!
We can sort this woman to woman.
No, we can't, Jodie Whittaker, 13th Doctor! She is a lost cause! Feed her to the Daleks!
Actually, no. There is only one suitable punishment for this. Bring in Tom Baker, 4th Doctor.
Hello there.
Get her.
I'm a very pleasant fellow.
Peter Capaldi, Doctor. Do you think I've gone too far?
No!
Good.
Wow, that's might be your best work, Connor.
I
That
told
was
you.
amazing.
This is why I look forward to Conor McRae calls.
Wow.
Bro,
Wow. I'm a changed man.
I think we all
I
have
really
changed
am.
people.
I like
we're all
that.
changed people.
I enjoyed that. Thank you.
And as always, I love that Capaldi screaming no is always in the call. There you go. But yes, I agree.
Alright.
Justice for Ricky September.
Justice for Ricky September.
Insert
Here we
that
go.
song. I don't remember the words. Itsy bitsy teeny weeny or whatever the lyrics were.
Twat.
What did you just say?
That's what it sounded like.
What did you just say?
The Sea Devil.
But what did you say?
I said twiet.
It didn't sound like it.
I said twiet.
I really hope that's what you said because it sounded like something a lot worse, Crispy.
It sounded like twiet. Here's Dr. Whovian.
Everyone in the chat, what did you think Crispy just said?
Oh.
Dr. Whovian, what have you got?
Hello. Yeah.
A funky version of our theme?
Hello and welcome back to Who's There, a
Doctor Who poop
podcast. My
What?
name is Crispy, his name is Chris, and we're the hotline that accepts your calls from anywhere in space and time. And today, oh my goodness, Chris made it to episode 8 of season 1 of Doctor Who, the very 8th episode. How does it feel, Chris? What do you have to say?
I feel so good, Crispy. How do you feel? Can you believe we've made 115 episodes together?
Oh, mate, we're so much older.
Well, since we're filming without Troy today,
I can't believe this.
I propose we take a few callers. Who do you want first, Crispy?
All right.
Anyone
all right.
but Beast Boss.
Let's start with Conor McRae.
I've lost my house keys.
Okay.
let's move on to Grace.
Hello, Grace.
I feel like having a really simple check-in today.
Hello, Grace.
What have you got, Grace?
I'm personally just getting over having COVID, but, we move.
All right, well, get well soon, Grace. Sorry, Troy, but I'm going to pass over to Beast Boss. Do we have Beast Boss, Crispy?
Hello, Beast Boss.
I'll get on with it, because it's Beast Boss time.
Oh, sorry, Beast Boss, but that's all we've got time for.
I'd love to talk for about 29 more minutes.
No, sorry, because today we're asking Troy and Crispy, what's one element of Season 1 that you'd like to see more of in Season 2? Thanks, guys.
That was lovely, Dr. Whovian.
Wow. I love it. I love it.
Just like to clarify, because someone did in the chat say AI is so scary. That was all actual quotes. If it wasn't, I wouldn't have enjoyed that. So just to make that clear,
that's all real.
What the hell just happened?
That was a mastery. That was an education.
You are like, can I just put this out there? The Patreons are paying us to deliver us better content than we're putting out at this point.
Correct.
It feels like the balance is not quite right, but please keep it coming. But either way, that is
wow.
Fantastic. Wow.
That's great stuff. That was amazing.
Do you know what the funniest thing
I'm
was?
Speechless,
I know
genuinely.
my mum's watching the podcast because, like, just halfway through that, I heard my mum howl out laughing from upstairs. And I can't wait for her to
Shout
hear
out,
this and
Mama
then probably
Arch
say something.
alive.
So I'm going to take an air off my headphone. But that was
so
phenomenal.
funny.
Absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, wow. So the question was for us today is what element from Season 1 would we like to see in future series? Interesting.
There's
Troy's
no laughing again. There we go. I was waiting for that.
Brill, good.
Element from Season 1 I'd like to hear in Season 2.
That's, I mean, an
the
element
TARDIS. It wasn't a very well used element. It should be in there.
Yeah, I'm trying. I can think of ways we could improve for Season 2, and I think Shooty will be in every episode of Season 2. Maybe there'll be one Dr. Light episode just out of principle, but I hope that Shooty's in every single one prominently.
Actually, I have got one.
Yeah.
Have you got one? Sorry, I wasn't sure if you were still thinking.
No, actually, I'm struggling.
Okay.
I'm struggling here.
15's theme. It's one of my favourite Doctor themes, but I feel like that wasn't used enough. And every time it is used, I'm like, yeah, give me more of it. It's like, it's kind of on the same, I was saying this to my mum earlier, it feels like a very similar level to I Am the Doctor. Whenever, like, Matt Smith's doing a big thing and you hear dun, 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 I love that. Whereas, like, you know, when 15's doing his big things, you got dun, 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 and I love that, but I don't feel like I'm hearing
really
it
remember
enough.
it in Boom. I actually don't remember hearing it that
It
often.
played at the start of Boom when he was running around, and then it stopped when he stepped on the landmine.
That's why I remember.
Yeah. And then, but the most notable time has been when they're dealing with Sutek, putting the rope on him in the finale. And it almost, I know it sounds stupid, but it almost made me feel like, oh, that's not as bad, because it was playing that music. I was like, that's enough to make me go, do you know what? I'm enjoying beauty in my ears. I don't care about what I'm seeing. I'm happy. You know?
Yeah, wow.
As long as I'm pleased either visually or audibly, I'm happy. And I was pleased audibly at that point. So yeah, more 15.
The music was pretty good this season. Well, let's say that. Just on the music, I enjoyed that. So yeah, maybe that's
more of Ruby's theme as well. Actually, speaking of, that wasn't used enough.
Ruby's theme was not used like at all. It was used like twice.
It was used in the scene with her and her mum in the coffee shop, once. And I noticed that, and I was like, yes, this is good. It's actually one of the best pieces Maurice wrote. Hot take, but it barely showed up. And I know it got some criticism in The Devil's Call because everyone went, "Oh, Ruby just played on the piano," but it turns out she wrote the song for somebody else. It's not even about her. And I was like, well, that doesn't matter so much as long as thematically in the episodes it ties to Ruby. But it just didn't play enough to establish it. So, I don't know.
No. Anyway, so that's answered your question.
But what about you, Chris? Have you got something you'd pick? Or are you just going to agree with me?
I'll agree with the music. And I will say that I can only think of things I don't want.
Well, say something you don't want, then.
Season. Fourth wall breaks. That's something I don't want.
Screaming something out, and I have no idea what she said. I heard words, but I didn't know what the words were. Sorry, you were saying the noise caught me off guard.
Fourth wall breaks. I feel like that's something I'm not the biggest fan of. I enjoyed it. I think Maestro should have been the only character to do it because it kind of made it was a fun little thing at the end of Church on Ruby Road with Mrs. Flood. This I don't know. This one just felt so out of place. Maybe because of the outfit, you're like, whoa, hold on, what are we doing here? And then night, I don't know. It
just felt like she was about to say she was going to stay another day. That's all I will say. Ooh, rhymes.
Stay another day. What's that?
E17. The outfit.
I'm shaking
you don't know the song "Stay Another Day"? Look it up after this.
Save Your Tears for Another Day.
Oh, that's a great song. That is a great song. Why is it called Fourth Wall Break? Because, well, here's a filming lesson for you. If you imagine any scenario you see a room, typically 3 walls, the background and then the sides of the camera, and then the fourth wall is the one that the audience is looking through. It's the camera lens. It's the one you're seeing through, and the audience is playing in your direction. So metaphorically, the fourth wall is broken because they're supposed to act like there is a wall there and they can't see you, but if they look through that wall and talk to you, that fourth wall has been broken. That's why it's called that.
Well put, Troy.
This has been
Well
your
put.
film education class, but from someone who never even did media studies in college. Thank you very much. Crispy,
Wow.
have we maybe got one last base call from the SpeakPipe people to wrap up?
Yeah, you ready?
There you go.
Wait, did we get everyone?
I
think so.
Have we actually got everyone?
All right, here we go.
Okay.
We have. Oh my gosh, you ready? You'll recognize this voice, Troy. Here
All
we
right.
go.
Oh, is it Jason from the States?
It might be.
I'm on. Tell me I got it right. That's gonna be a great
I'm not gonna
finale. Give me
reveal.
some high energy.
All right, here we go. 3, 2.
Hey guys, well, for the season finale, I gotta go 7.5 out of 10. Were we spoiled because last week's episode was so good that this week's finale was just a bit of a letdown, perhaps? And I gotta ask, with Lenny Rush's character having machine guns in his Segway, really a 13-year-old with machine guns? I know it's Unit, but come on. And with the reset button, every planet is back. Does that mean we've got Gallifrey back again? Just a question for season 2. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Unit's policy on hiring children and giving children weapons.
Been one of the funniest things to come out of Legends
So
of
funny,
Ruby
though.
Sunday. Like
So funny.
like the subtitles of Kate saying all non-essential staff at the building being changed to all over 16 people out of the building or something. Like, there is a bit of a thing about having kids in Unit, which it's more that the thing with Rose is just that she didn't have anything to do. I feel like she was with Ruby and mentioned Donna, but not by name in Ruby Sunday. But in Empire of Death, didn't say a word.
Didn't have much to do.
It's just kind of there.
Did not have much to do. Which is a shame because maybe Yasmin Finney won't be there next time because Russell mentioned that they're going to have like this rotating roster of characters, new and all returning.
Yeah, because
so...
Shirley Ann Bingham's back next season, isn't she?
Yes, absolutely.
I want to see her and
confirmed.
Morris together. Let's not have one or the other. They're both good characters. Let's just have everyone that we can in Unit.
I enjoy Unit generally, but yeah, I don't think Yasmin Finney said a word this episode at all.
No.
Yeah. Anyway,
maybe she was feeling finnied with her character. Anyway,
Nice.
In our chat, Dr. Master was asking to listen to her part 2 to finish off. What do you think, Crispy? The chat seems to think we should listen. I'll let you decide.
Oh, okay. I can't see.
It'll be Dr.
Part
Master
2.
again. It'll say part 2 or something.
Oh.
Can you see it?
I see it.
All right, let's finish
I
with this
see
then.
it.
If we haven't got to your call, I'm sorry. There were a lot, and we had a lot of features to get through today. But I will just say before we do this, because I imagine live chat viewers will begin to dip off soon, most likely. Next week, we will be talking about Season 1 as a whole. And if you are watching this live stream right now, and either you have called in before or you haven't, or you're listening on audio platforms, you can head to SpeakPipe. As of right now, any calls from this point onwards will count. Please call in with your thoughts on Season 1. We're going to try and get through a lot, so I will ask if we can try and focus more back on the half-a-minute runtime. If you go slightly over, it's not the end of the world, but do try and focus in on that. I see Daisy asking in the chat, how do you call in? I will pop the link in the live chat once more. But as of this point onwards, please do go and send in your thoughts on Season 1 of Doctor Who. There is your link in the live chat if you need it to save. Anyway, Crispy,
Brill.
Let's finish off. What's Elle's part 2 of thoughts? What's she got to say?
Here we go.
Okay, so I do have some opinions on the episode, actually, if you want to include this as well. Mainly just about Sutek and his CGI. I feel like, I'm rewatching it right now, I feel like the effects kind of, like, lessen really quickly. I feel like he would have been a lot more menacing if he was the big, like, Cloud from Legend of Ruby Sunday, because he's meant to evolve into, like, an otherworldly being. So I thought that would have been a lot more, like, better and impactful, because he doesn't really do much in his form anyway. He just sits on top of the TARDIS, which looks incredible, and especially the stuff with his like wings on the floor, like great. And then also final bit, Millie absolutely devoured this episode. Like at the end of it, she was so good. She's like, "You great big god of nothing," and she drops the screen. Also, the goodbye between the Doctor and Ruby, like both are incredible leads. I just wish we got more of them together because I don't feel like we got much of that this series.
That's a good summary. There you go.
Yeah, well.
I agree with most of that. Yeah, I think the CGI was fine. I don't mind it. But yeah, there you go. There you go, folks. And also, people in the chat, what's the deadline for submitting calls? Basically, as soon as you can. We haven't decided what day we're recording yet, so just whenever you can, please.
Just ASAP.
ASAP, basically. So, binge the whole series tomorrow and then send a call in. That's what you should all do. No one does anything on a Sunday, right? Day of rest. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been probably the longest episode we've done in a hot minute. Like, we might be at, Power of the Doctor length, I feel like. Crispy, how are you doing? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. I feel like I need to tell people the news. We teased them many a moon ago. Yeah, the news with in the Rogue review I mentioned that I was going in for a job interview, and
you're in control of the soundboard. You know what track to play when you say this. Come on, imagine it's me pressing it.
I actually don't know.
Just the applause, Crispy. The applause.
Just the okay, cool. Yeah. So I went in for the job interview around Rogue time, and as of tomorrow, for me, it's my first day at my new job, everyone.
I just realised the levelator, when I whispered, it probably went so loud it will have bled people's eardrums. If it did that, I'm very sorry. As I told you, I'm not bothered enough to edit these things. Congratulations, Crispy. Very, very proud of you. Look at that.
Thank you.
He's finally the showrunner of Doctor Who.
I am showrunner of Doctor Who.
There you go. There you go.
So, it's very exciting.
Ladies and gentlemen, after what I think is about an hour and 3/4, I have lost track. I have no idea how long this has turned out. The recording on OBS says an hour and 48 minutes. It's probably, I reckon, about an hour and 3/4. So, this has been fun. Thank you all very much for hanging out. Crazy times. Crispy, you know what I'm going to ask you?
Yeah.
Closing comments, if you please, on Empire of Death.
The thing about recording this early in the morning, which is fine. I'm usually up around this time.
I'm not.
But when we record for this extended period of time, and especially when we're doing it live, I've needed to go to the toilet for about 2 hours now, and I'm busting.
Never ever say you're busting again, sir.
Busted. So yeah, Empire of Death, it was fine. Season, yeah, cool. Yeah, fun times. Fun times.
We like Doctor Who.
We like the show.
There you go.
I do. It's my favourite show in the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much for listening and or watching, depending on where you are. Much love, Apple Podcast listeners. To episode 115 of Who's There, a Doctor Who podcast. And if I can echo a sentiment that no doubt Crispy feels the same way for, thank you all very much for watching and supporting us throughout Season 1. The episodes have been doing so bloody well. I don't imagine that will continue going into standard format. It may dip a little bit, and if it does, you know what? So be it. However, just this season, the love and support, because you'll always get more attention on Doctor Who content when there's new episodes. The attention we've got is absolutely amazing, and we really appreciate you all for it. And if you happen to be new
Very
here
much too.
and you want to hear us talk about Doctor Who every week, believe it or not, especially since before this season, in about 100 episodes, there's only been about 5 new episodes of Doctor Who. We managed to do weekly regardless. So if you always want that
Crazy,
weekly
we
Doctor
did
Who
it.
chat, tune in with us every Tuesday morning at 6 a.m. UK time, unless it's a live episode where it's a bit earlier on YouTube, obviously. Then make sure that you click that subscribe button or follow on any relevant platforms. And if you haven't said it in a while, give us a 5-star review on the audio platform of your choice. Spotify, we're on about 4.8 stars. Get it up, baby. Get it up.
There's actually quite a few written reviews there that I would like to read out each week.
Where?
There are a few new ones on Apple. Don't read them. I'll read them too. We can have it
if you use Apple Podcasts or just have an iPhone and can go and listen for a tiny bit and leave a review, please do leave a review on Apple Podcasts. I said that'd be a cool feature a while ago, didn't I? Just reading one out to start an episode. That'd be dope. Let's do it. So go leave a review over there. But either way, thank you all very much for listening. We will be back next week with episode 116, where we will look back. We're doing a looking back, Crispy. We've got enough to do another looking back. We're going to look back on Doctor Who Season 1. Was it great? Was it bad? Were there not enough episodes? Yes, there were. And we'll talk about all that and more. And we will, all, as always, take your calls in. So head over to SpeakPipe now and go and submit your call. As I've said, please try and keep it to 30 seconds so we can get through as many as we can. But either way, thank you all for listening. So until that next episode, it is goodbye from the Australian on the other side of the planet.
See you later, and thank you for the season.
And it's goodbye from me, delighted Russell. Even though I don't like your pointing bit in that episode, overall, I'm glad you're back, buddy. I love you lots. And can I please meet you and give you a big kiss? consensually. Thank you very much for watching. We greatly love and appreciate you all for tuning into our silly little podcast, and we will see you all very, very soon. Al on Z, baby.
Al on Z, baby.
Bye. And there we go. That's a wrap on the recording. Boom. Hop, boom.
Wow.
I'm exhausted. It is now 5 minutes past midnight in the UK, and I'm up at 8
Don't forget
a.m.
to
tomorrow,
click below
so
to subscribe to the official Doctor Who YouTube channel.
I agree, Peter Capaldi. So I'm going to head off. I know the last couple of live streams I've kind of hung around afterwards and chatted to you all,
Yeah.
Crispy. I mean, I could go to bed and leave the stream running if you want to, but okay, all right.
No, I need to go.
Go to the toilet, my boy. Go to the toilet. I tell you what, you go to the toilet. By the time I come back, the call will be gone.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
You go to the
Thanks for
toilet.
today.
Much love,
Bye.
buddy. You take care.
Bye. See you later.
Bye, man. Bye, man. Bye. Boom. Just ended the call there. That's how we do it. That's how we do it, folks. I don't even know which one is the right scene. Do you know what? I'm not even putting the solo scene on, because if I do that, I'll be tempted to go for longer. Seriously, thank you all so much for hanging out. Really, really do appreciate it. It's been such a blast, especially, like I said, over the last 8 episodes, talking about the season and getting all the interest that you guys have shown. As I said, I know how it works, like with payday content. When there's a payday update, more people will watch. When there's not, less people will watch. I'm expecting things will probably dip a little bit now that the season's ended. But whether you do hang around or not, whether you were just here for the episodes or not, we really, really appreciate your support. And all I can say is I hope you guys stick around for everything else that we talk about going forward. It's been a blast. Really appreciate you all. Whether you just subscribe and listen, whether you comment, whether you're a patron, whether you're in the Discord server. I should have mentioned that. People are probably dipping off, but if you're not in the Discord server, let me get an invite for you real quick. I'll make it really quick. I don't know why I'm making weird noises. Generate a new link. Copy. This link will never expire. Good. Okay. I'm active in it occasionally. I'm more active in my own personal Discord, but I'm not going to link that right now. Discord.gg/RedArcherLive. But yeah, there's the Who's There official Discord server. Feel free to go join that. Thank you all for watching. So next one will be back to normal. So you'll all hear it a week on Tuesday at 6 a.m. UK time. Current pages make me too scared to join. Just bear in mind, you don't have to be you can subscribe at a certain time. You don't have to put a call in. It's a benefit that you can choose to take advantage of. You don't have to. Like, if you want to just support us at a particular tier but don't care about the bonuses, that's fine, you know? We'll take your money. No, we really appreciate you. We really do. Right, that's me going. I'm going to go to the outro screen so I can go to bed. Thank you, everyone. Good night if you're in the UK. If you're somewhere else, good morning. I don't know. But I'll see you all later. Much love. And if you have any more questions for me about Doctor Who, you can always join and check out my Twitch streams at some point. I should mention that because sometimes people do pop up there. Just go on Twitch and look at Red Archer Live. Anyway, enough waffling. Yes, I'm going to watch the Blind Wave reaction. I might watch it before I go to sleep if I can fancy it. I don't know. I'm very tired. Anyway, thank you all for watching. See you all later. Outro's coming on. Here it comes. It's the old theme. I need to change it. I'm so sorry. Love you a lot.